bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome, and happy Friday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all the things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, anything that's trending on these here internets. We yip yap about it on this here show. So, if you can, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And so we got a lot of tea to get into. I mean, it's not a lot of tea, but it's a lot of tea. So, Madonna turns 66 today. So, Pink News put together a little something. Wait, hold on. I got to make sure oh yeah. I just realized I have one of my windows open. She turned 66 today. Happy birthday to the Queen, Madonna. Pink News did a little something and put a little something together, I should say. And they ranked her 60 of her best singles. So we're going to go down that little list and do that. Plus, I'm going to give you all my review of Alien Romulus. I'm not going to spoil stuff because I know people still want to see the film, but I'm going to give you my overall feelings on the film and what it put me through, child, because it put me through a lot. So, speaking of which, movies and things. We're going to talk about, well, it's not necessarily movies, a show, but this mess going on with Beau DeMayo, the creator of X-Men 97, and Disney. Child, it's getting messy over there in these streets, in these Hollywood streets. So we're gonna chat about it. Plus, I know some people on the show was talking about how they want to go see The Crow. Well, we have the projected numbers that it's going to make for its upcoming opening weekend because it comes out next week. And I feel like based on the word of mouth that's going around about Alien Romulus, child, The Crow, you in danger, girl. So we got that. Plus Camila Mendes, she's getting real busy today. Or in the past couple of weeks. She's been cast as Teela in the live-action Masters of the Universe movie. We're going to talk about that. Plus, Nicole Scherzinger, Liam Payne, Kelly Rowland, AJ McLean are joining forces for a new music competition show on Netflix called Building the Band. We're going to talk about that. Katy Perry is receiving the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award at the MTV VMAs. We did talk about that yesterday, but it was in passing. It was brought up while I was doing the show. And I just gave my little quick situation, but I'm going to give my overall thoughts now that we have a whole topic around it. There's more Real Housewives of New Jersey drama. Frank Catania, who was the ex-husband of Dolores Catania, or as Wendy Williams would call her, Black Dolores, basically saying that he heard rumors that Teresa was asked to leave the Real Housewives of New Jersey, which I guess is a nicer way of saying you fired. But I'll give my overall thoughts on that. Speaking of housewives, Bethenny Frankel is coming to Blake Lively's defense and is even lumping Jennifer Lopez into the conversation. Yeah, this is like, Jennifer probably like, now why am I in it? But, in the words of Monique Leaks, Lanithia Monique Leaks, I should say. So we'll talk about that and that whole drama with It Ends With Us. I'm still confused what's going on with that damn movie. But and then Zoe Kravitz is reflecting on the hurtful decision she made as a kid to leave her mother Lisa Bonet to go live with her father Lenny Kravitz, who she revealed later on in the interview that he was never home because he was busy out touring and making that coin, and Lisa was at home trying to distill some structure in her life. So we'll talk about that. Plus, Elliot Page is revealing that he is misgendered all the time as he is preparing to make his film debut since coming out as a transgender man. And Alexandra Billings, speaking of trans, is responding to Hunter Schafer. We talked about this a couple of days ago too, saying that she turns down trans roles and doesn't want to be a trans role model. So I figured that, the trans people, in Hollywood is going to weigh in on this situation. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more, whatever comes up in the chat. We'll definitely chat about it on this here show. So, of course, once again, please hit the like button, that subscribe button, and smash the notification button so that way when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And I'm itching all of a sudden. I think I got bit by a damn mosquito on my shoulder. I went to take my dog for a walk, to the bathroom before the show started. And I'm like, bitch, I think a mosquito bit me on my damn shoulder. They be biting through the clothes now. These are bold-ass bugs. I hate mosquitoes. How you doing? Yeah, I got to switch it up for y'all. I wanted to have like a late night, like I'm in my penthouse, my deluxe apartment in the sky. He said, I read the article. What you talking about? Oh, where is Joaquin abandoning the gay film over sex stuff? I've heard that, but I feel like outside of the people like us that are talking about, like the gay blogs and Hollywood pundits, I really don't think that it could hurt the Joker too, because I feel like most people don't even care. I feel like most people genuinely, whoever liked the first Joker movie, are gonna go see Joker 2. So I don't really feel like it could hurt it. I do think what they need to do is take his ass to court and make him pay that money that was owed. Because first of all the people that are affected by that film, the people that literally were like, okay, now I'm gonna have to provide 2 months of my time to go shoot this movie in Mexico, they're now out of a job. And so now, and then you have to think about also, they've had to turn down prior work to go spend 2 months in Mexico, or how many months are we going to do this film to go make that money. So for him to go pull this, which I've heard that he's notorious for backing out of shit at the last minute, I say take his ass to court and make him pay. And plus, on top of that, with the money he made from both movies, Joker 1 and 2, I mean, we don't know if Joker 2 is going to be $1 billion film. But if they make that money or whatever, he could basically pay with his Joker 2 money. He wasn't, okay? And we ain't talking about a guitar or that microphone stand. So Joaquin turned down that role kind of makes him look. I mean, does it make him look homophobic when he was the one that, first of all, came up with the idea? He developed the script. It was based off of idea that he had, and he actually went and picked the director, went to him and pitched this film. So he came up with the whole damn thing. They developed it, and then 5 days before, he decides to back out. Like, to me, it was like, why would you go through all of that just to at the last minute back out? And if you're supposed to be straight, so this is why I don't like this whole thing with straight people jumping into our shit. Now I can understand if like a Matt Bomer or Luke Evans or somebody would have came up with this idea, and they just said the movie can't be recast. I'm like, y'all, so there's no other man that y'all could look at and find to bring someone else into this movie, or is it just that these people that are funding the film, the producers and stuff? Because depending on what your role is as a producer, there are producers that come aboard and say that you need to find a way to bring in the money to be able to budget the film and all this other stuff. So those production companies that came aboard, are they trying to say, well, because it's Joaquin Phoenix, we'll only promote and support this film, that you can't find some other actor that may come along and be able to play this part? Because I don't know how y'all trying to say that it's not that you can't cast another actor outside of Joaquin Phoenix. There ain't no other men out here that want a job. Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, that don't make no sense unless there's something in the contract that states that. But then again, maybe y'all should have stated in the damn contract that when you sign on to do a movie and whatever the case is or whatever, that you can't back out of a film. Otherwise, y'all gonna be hit with a lawsuit. And I feel like for now on Hollywood, y'all need to do that with every actor, unless the studio decides to pull the plug and say we're not moving forward with something. Then, as an actor or whatever, you are obligated to finish out this movie. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. We were saying like, well, I forgot what it was that Kim Basinger had to do, but there was another person that um was supposed to be in a backed out of a film, and he had to do 3 Disney movies or something or another. He had to sign on and do other films. So it's also a movie that I was thinking about that I want to see, and I'm like, damn, that was real quick that y'all put together a damn trailer. That new movie with Timothy Chalamet playing Bob Dylan, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to see this movie. They showed it last night when I went to go see Alien Romulus, which I am going to get into later on in the show. Thank you for the night. Yeah, nice background. You like my deluxe apartment in the sky? Yeah, I'm in Midtown Manhattan. It's like, why didn't he just help the cast? That's what I would have been like. It's like, if I don't want to do it, like pick somebody else. And with me, I would have been like, I think it would have been hotter. No shade, because quiet as it's kept, I do not want to see Joaquin Phoenix is not a looker. So I would not want to see him fucking no other man. I would have, child, let me tell you, this would have been some good spank bank stuff. Let me start with seeing Danny Danny Ramirez getting his cheeks clapped by like a Luke Evans or a Matt Bomer. First of all, can we talk about the sex scene with Matt Bomer and Fellow Travelers? Child, I was getting hot and bothered. And usually a lot of them acting roles, I'd be like, okay, this is so fake, it's so mechanical. But the way him and Jonathan Bailey was going at it in that movie, I was like, oh, I need me a edible or something. First of all, and I will say this. Like we watch some Hollywood movies. I don't know how. I guess when you were little and you didn't really have nothing else to look forward to, you could beat your meat to that stuff. But child, is porn. But that would have been hotter to see that. I'm like, a Matt Bowman doing that, and he when we know that he can transform himself to playing a character from like in the 50s or whatever the case is. But this movie's supposed to take place in the 30s, so we know he could definitely play that. Like I said, but the backing out is kind of suspicious. Like he couldn't go through with it. I really want to know why he decided to back out instead of putting himself in there, dropping out. I just want an explanation on why you ain't the only one. I want to know too. Shit. A lot of actors are saying their kids and other stuff. Is his kids junior high? Joaquin Phoenix has kids. I don't be paying attention to him like that. But here's the thing. First of all, actors are actors. We're not going to sit up in here and do this whole, but his kids, and worrying about his kids. They know what the fuck their father do for a damn living. And if people go and have something to say about it, if the private school they go to, it's like, well, damn, is your father make billions of dollars at the box office? I'll wait. So I don't know if that's a stupid excuse with them to try to say, oh, it's the kids. That's always the go-to with every damn body. Y'all love using y'all kids as a shield, even when it comes to certain situations of like, nah, I'm not even gonna go there. Because you know where I was gonna go with that. I was about to make a real dark, I was about to take this show in a dark direction with politics and how kids are using shields, if you know what I'm saying. I think you do. With the many mass pow pows that we've had in this country since Columbine. I was going to say Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook came after. Columbine was the first that I could think of. Where it was like we had all that. But anyway, okay, so yeah, yeah, I didn't know anything about it, but I was like, damn, that was quick. They came out with that movie. Uh, um, I actually watched the video and listened to the song before I went live at the show because I was like, I need to catch up. First of all, I'm overwhelmed right now. There's too much stuff. Last night they dropped Marilyn Manson dropped two new damn songs. He dropped the video this morning. And I'm like, damn, everybody dropping music all at once now. So I like what Marilyn Manson vocally. He sounds completely different. He sounds good. I didn't watch the video yet, but I like the songs that he was doing that he put out. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. I mean, what did we expect that Bruno Mars? I thought Bruno was going to step outside the box and give us a little something different. It was giving me hoedown. It was giving me like now everybody's trying to capitalize on this whole country thing. Even though yeah, Gaga dabbled in it when she did Joanne, an album nobody really cared for, especially her Little Monsters. But when I listened to the song, I was just like, all right, whatever. It's not something I'm going to bump every day. So I guess I'm with you with it. You're like, you liked it, but you can't relate to the lyrics. So I was like, it's just like, it's Gaga, but it's not something that I'm going to just jump through hoops for. What I'm really interested in hearing is that more industrial type of stuff that she's going to release with LG7, which we all know is coming out in 2025. It's funny how Robert was saying that yesterday. Oh, the album's going to drop in 2025. I think an article came out where it said that. And I'm like, duh, we all knew that. She's gonna be focused on speaking of Joker. She's gonna focus on Joker too. She's got to promote that movie, but in the meantime, she's probably gonna just give y'all a couple of songs that are not even gonna be included on the new album, just to whet y'all appetite. And then she's gonna move on to the next thing. And then when LG7 comes out, then she'll go full throttle with that. But I don't think LG7 is coming out until probably like maybe late winter, early spring. She'll drop a couple of singles after the movie is out. The movie comes out what in October, so I think like maybe November, December. Give it a good month. There's a guy that was meant to be in a Marvel movie coming out, but some conflict and Disney recast the role. But they are happy for him to come back in another. So I was saying, if they can recast in other ways, I don't know how this movie is not recastable. Like it doesn't make sense. Are you talking about that? It was somebody in Thunderbolts. Who was that? I didn't hear anything, but maybe I did hear about it, but I wasn't paying attention. But I didn't look into that. But anyway, that's Oh, excuse me. I wonder if she's gonna do with. What do you mean? Like when she did the Stars A Star Is Born, and she actually put out a whole, like she put out a couple of songs and stuff because she was playing the character in the film, and then she had that Shallow song with Bradley Cooper. I mean, who knows? But I think like she's probably going to do a. It's probably like an ensemble thing, kind of like a musical. Which I find it funny that Joker 2 is not presenting itself as a musical when it is a musical. It's the same thing with Wicked. It's a musical, but y'all trying to push this as like it's a bunch of acting. It's sort of like musicals are seen as like a four-letter word right now, which is weird. If it's like y'all making musicals, but y'all scared of musicals because y'all feel like if people find out it's a musical, it's gonna flop. So they're trying to take that Wonka approach, where it's like everybody went and bought a ticket for Wonka and went into the movies. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a musical? Y'all think y'all slick with that? That's what she kept saying the same thing and that 99, it was 100 people in a room. That dumb shit. Oh, she better not do that again. They're gonna read her the riot act if she do that. And I tell you, I love me some sparkling ice water. It just soothes my throat. Yeah, I hate when they do that. And the worst part is when you do interviews, they're gonna loop all that together. Like what they was doing with Blake Lively disingenuous ass. But we're gonna get into her later. But first thing, let me hit my banner. Let's get into Madonna, who today turns 66. So happy birthday to the queen. I'm sure right now she's in Italy living her best life, getting her cheeks clapped by that new boyfriend who's like what, 29. First of all, I'm not gonna hold you, but I can't wait till I turn 66 because I'm gonna be laying low and spreading the wide with boys half by. It's like, first of all, when you 66, you really should think like, okay, there's not gonna be no 66-year-old man that's gonna be able to keep up with your sex drive. My sex drive, outrageous. My shop is freeze, outrageous. But anyway, so pink news, because the gays, if there's anybody that live for Madonna, it's the gays. Because she's had a great year, we should say, even after the whole situation where where she was going to be expired, that her life was on the line or something. And I did see that um one of the followers of the show put some conspiracy theory up in there about how she was in the hospital voguing when she was in the ICU. And I said, "Child, first of all, I ain't hear no tea about that. I mean, where you getting that tea from? Fox News?" But Kalani, friends of the show, actually said that in the comments. I was like, I'm not buying it. First of all, we ain't hear nothing about that. But we know that Madonna is somebody who is very resilient and will always try to be quick to bounce back, even when she's sick. I mean, we've seen this happen with her. Like, she's from a generation of artists that are just like, they push through. Even when they're sick, it's like, I got things to do. Even I'm just drop dead here. I'm going to just keep pushing through. But when you are stubborn in that way, your doctors really have to advise you to not be doing no craziness or whatever. So you got to pace yourself. And I feel like she's at that point now where she is really pacing herself. But after the whole thing when she was in the hospital and damn near at death's door, she did have she came back with the celebration tour, rebounded. Everybody was living for the concert. I got to go. But yeah, I was going to go before. I had my ticket actually before the whole situation happened. And literally, I believe it was a week before she was set to come to New York where she had to not she couldn't do the tour because I think it was like New York was the US leg was like early in the whole beginning of her kicking off the tour, but because of the whole sickness situation she had to postpone it. And so when it happened, I'm glad good things come to those who wait, because the show was everything. So without further ado, so we're gonna go through these pretty quickly. Because I was like, should I do all 60 or should we just do like what they chose as the top 10? Because I feel like I don't want it to be here. I don't want to be here. I'll ask the chat, what should we do? Because I'm like, yeah, this is going to be one of those pop-up books. Remember the pop-up book is like, well, if you want to be able to know what happens to this character, go to page 560. So should we go through all 60 or should we do top 10? Because I don't know if we want to be here like we was yesterday when I went through that whole list of the artists or whatever of the best pop stars of the 21st century or something or another. And I was like, child, that was a long-winded one. Oh yeah, I was supposed to see her in September last year too. So then it didn't happen. They said choose your own adventure. Yeah, that's exactly what those books were. I used to read a lot of those when I was little. Well, okay, so let's I'll make an executive decision. So we'll go through all of them. We'll just do it quickly. So number 60, they chose American Life. Number 59 is Hanky Panky. 58 is Spotlight from You Can Dance. 57 is Living for Love from Rebel Heart. 56 is Drown World Substitute for Love from Ray of Light. I forgot that was a damn single. 55 is Dear Jesse from Like a Prayer. 54 is 4 Minutes, 2008 from Hard Candy featuring Justin Timberlake and Timberlake. You know what? As a class, I should probably have y'all look at it. 53 is Miles Away from Hard Candy. I do love that song. And that should have really been a single, but I don't feel it. Was that really a single though? You know what? I actually did not like the edit of that damn song, the way they did it in the video. And then they just chose like the live performance from her actual from the tour, the Hard Candy. What was it? Sticky and Sweet tour. I'm gonna say the Hard Candy tour. Yeah, Sticky and Sweet. My sugar is raw. 52. Give me all your loving. I hate that song. Y'all know how much I can't stand that goddamn song. But child, that should have been 60. Not no damn 52. You should have put that at the bottom of the pile. And not stand that damn song. But I totally understand why she did it. And I will say that the tour that she does the song on does redeem the song a little bit because she did remix it and then she was doing like supersonic and it was the choreography and it made it more tolerable. But overall as a song, child, if I ever listen to MDNA, I skip that song quickly. The minute I hear I was like, oh nope, next. It's kind of like that meme that's circulating the drag queen that gets into a car accident, and then Woman's World comes on by Katy Perry, and then she actually comes alive to turn the song off, and then goes back to being in the accident. That would be me with this damn song. Okay, so let's move on. Now, 51 is Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. The truth is, I never left you, bitch. I do love this song, though. And I love Evita. What's New, Buenos Aires? That's a song for the movie, too. Number 50, Get Together. Now, I do love this song, child. First of all, I just love Confessions on the Dance Floor, period. But Get Together is my shit. You know what's another favorite of mine that I wish was a damn single? Forbidden Love. You know, she has two songs called Forbidden Love. One that's on Bedtime Stories, and she has another one that's on Confessions. Forbidden Love, I actually love that song. And I love particularly the performance of that song on the Confessions tour, as well as the choreography, the handography, as I like to call it. Then she has Gambler from Vision Quest, which I know is, first of all, I know the hardcore Madonna fans will probably flip a damn wig because I know like the hardcore Madonna fan this wasn't like a big hit, or I don't even know if it was a hit. But I do know like this is a favorite amongst a lot of the hardcore Madonna fans. So what they said, oh yeah, because you know, Jelly Bean Benitez who was her ex, did the song. I will say this. Jelly Bean also did the theme song to Ricky Lake. That's probably why I actually like that damn theme song. Jelly Bean Benitez produced that. 48. Crazy for You, also from Vision Quest. Well, I do love that song too. 47. Love Don't Live Here Anymore, which is from Something to Remember, and it was produced by Massive Attack, I believe. And also she did I Want You, which I believe is a Marvin Gaye song, if I remember off the top of my head. So, and it's a Rolls Royce classic. So she covered two songs from two previous people on, from Something to Remember. She did the Rolls Royce track, and then she did Marvin Gaye. which I know was produced by Massive Attack. As far as like Love Don't Live Here Anymore, I'm not sure off the top of my head who produced that. Might have been them as well. 46, Keep It Together. Keep it together. Keep it together forever and ever. First of all, can we talk about the concert of her doing this song? I live for the choreography. I just live for everything with it. The Blonde Ambition tour, bitch. First of all, Keep It Together is like one of my favorite damn songs from Like a Prayer. I love this performance. I love when she performed this song live. And I really wish that she would perform this song more. But Madonna tends to do a lot of one and dones with a lot of her songs. But there are her go-tos that she will perform. Like I don't think there's ever been a concert that she hasn't done La Isla Bonita. That's like one of her, I think that's just a song she never gets tired of doing. One of those infectious singles. But it was like, excuse me. Okay, so now 45, Causing a Commotion. I do love this song too. From the Who's That Girl soundtrack. 44, Rescue Me. Now, bitch, let me tell you. Rescue Me is another one of my favorites. And that was like one of the songs that I wanted to have her perform, that I wish she would have performed at the Celebration tour. Because I love that. And let me tell you, when I remember buying the Immaculate Collection, but it was years later because 1991, I was way too little to be able to have the money to go to the store and buy it. So years later, because there were times when I was old enough to buy music, I actually would buy like classic albums. So I started buying like the very first album that I ever bought from Madonna was Bedtime Stories because I was old enough to buy an album of hers then. So when I went to buy that album, and with my allowance and able to go to the store and be independent and buy my own stuff, that was the first CD that I bought. Afterwards, when I was just spending money and didn't have a care in the world because I was young and I didn't have no responsibilities like I do now, I actually would go and buy a lot of the old Madonna records. So the Immaculate Collection I did buy, and I wore that damn CD out. And Rescue Me was one of my favorite songs. Your Love Is Giving Me Hope. What was the other part? Rescue Me, I'm drowning, give me a rope. So now, don't tell me. Now, I do love this song too, for music. Especially with the whole country, folk, and electronic mixation she was doing. And that's kind of like what I was hoping that Beyonce would do with Cowboy Carter. Not necessarily copy verbatim of what Madonna was doing, but I thought that what she would do is, yeah, you give the foundation of country music, but you were also going to experiment with like different genres and make it you. Which is why I guess the argument is that people feel like, yeah, while Beyonce is edutaining people with Cowboy Carter, that it doesn't really sound authentically like something that she would do. Whereas with Madonna, it's like, yeah, country, folk, all those other things is not necessarily my vibe. I mean, I do use like instruments and stuff when it comes to the music, but I'm gonna put my own spin on that genre of music. And I'm gonna incorporate dance music, electronic music, all that other stuff, all those elements into what it is that I'm trying to do. But I want to be taken seriously because I think after, like that whole after Ray of Light, she was sort of in this whole era of I want to be taken seriously as a musician. So now I'm gonna like experiment more because people appreciated what I did in regards of Ray of Light. So now I want to kind of do all these other things and incorporate other different sounds, and it worked because she worked with the right people. And there wasn't a lot of people doing that stuff out there. So it was like she was really fusing a lot of sounds and it was working. Because when you listen to that song, don't tell me definitely on paper sounds crazy. But then the execution was just perfect. So 42 is Take a Bow, which I do love that song. Shout out to Babyface. Me Against the Music with Miss Brittany is at 41. Well, that is the collaboration of all collaborations. It's like, yeah, we do live for the whole VMA situation, but quiet as it's kept. That song, Me Against the Music, I still put that damn song on and go ham. Even though Britney is not, I've kind of outgrown Britney in a lot of ways, but I still bump her shit. Like Femme Fatale, that is an album that I continue to wear out to this day. Blackout, I live for, but I don't go as hard for Blackout like so many other people do. But Femme Fatale is my album, if we want to talk Britney. And I like a lot of her classic stuff, Hit Me Baby One More Time, Oops, I Did It Again, Lucky, She's So Lucky, She's a Star. Like, I live for all of that shit. But In the Zone is my song. And it definitely works with her and Madonna. That was like the perfect collaboration. Number 40, I remember, child, when I tell you I wore this damn song out from With Honors, I've never seen the movie, but I remember when this song came out and I seen her with that Romulan haircut. If you watch, look, that's a reference for the Star Trek fans. With the whole, she was giving Romulan tease with this hair. She could have been in a damn Star Trek movie. She could have, child, you could have had her play a Vulcan. All you had to do was give her the ears. But anyway, I did live for this song. I think Brendan Fraser was in that movie With Honors, if I remember correctly. But I did love the song because I remember radio used to run this song into the ground back in 1994. 39, Sorry from Confessions on the Dance Floor. Now, I do live for this song. I love the performance where she did this on the tour. And I just love like the whole thing of the album's whole idea was this continuation of like the music flowing. It's really like one long DJ set, which I'm noticing like a lot of people are starting to do now with their albums. But the videos even kept up with that too. It was like a continuation, like one big long night of a party. And seeing how she had the same dancers for the video and on the tour, and she was roller skating. It was like all kinds of crazy stuff. Her and Cloud and all the other cute dancers, Miron, all of them was hanging out, having a good time. They even had trumpet and shit up in there. It was definitely giving 70s disco vibes, which is what the album's theme basically was. 38 is Music from 2000s Music. This is when Madonna was big and pregnant. I believe she was pregnant with Rocco when she did this video. And then she had Ali G up in there. Who was funny back in the day. Sacha Baron Cohen right now today is like, But back in the day, he was a cackle. 37, Burn It Up. Now, this is the iconic song. I'm trying to remember. Did she perform this song on the Celebration tour? I feel like she did perform it. I don't remember. I just need this damn tour to come out already so I can wear that out. 36, You'll See. I do love that song too. 35, Everybody. This is like, I believe, her very first song. The song that literally put Madonna on the map was Everybody. Look at those eyebrows, child. 34, Who's That Girl? Señorita Más Fina. ¿Quién es esta niña? Okay. I do live for that song, child. Still do to this day. 33, Material Girl. Okay. A name she does not like being called, by the way. 32, True Blue. Baby, I Love You. 31, Nothing Really Matters. I'm so glad that she opened up the tour with this song. Although I know it's like highly unexpected. And I don't even think this song was a big hit, but Madonna does what Madonna wants to do. She's like, I'm not going to open up with one of the biggest hits. I'm going to open up with a song that I actually loved. And I actually love this song as well. And it should have been a bigger hit. I'm surprised that the song didn't really do all that well. First of all, I live for the video. I think Johan Renck directed it. And I just love like the whole, like how all the metaphors and the spiritual, undertones that were throughout the video, especially when you had the Asian women in the kimonos who were carrying they were like rocking the baby that was made of water. It was like a bag of water, which is basically, I believe, a sign of fertility. I almost said fruitility, fertility and stuff. So 31, yes, is Nothing Really Matters. Like we're halfway through, child. Let's keep going. Oh, Father, number 30. Number 29, Open Your Heart, which I do love that she performed that song, even, what was it? The MDNA tour with Rocco. When I think they did, was it Shaka Joe or how the hell you say that phrase? Number 28, My Baby's Got a Secret, which everybody thought at this time when she came up with this song Secret that she was pregnant. She wasn't, but it did get, rumors of flurry. Ying. 27, Borderline. 26, Human Nature. I'm Not Your Bitch. Don't hang your shit on me. I remember my teacher in school used to go by this damn song and used to always say that this and None of Your Business by Salt and Pepper. That was like her go-to because there was always people thinking like if she had a man or whatever the case was, trying to find out she's a big old lesbian. I should have known that. But I know what I didn't know much about being a homosexual in the 90s. So we ain't go along with it because I was minding my business. I kept it moving. 25 Cherish. I do love this video. Shout out to the dearly departed Sir Ari Gold, who was an openly queer singer, songwriter, pop star, who reenacted this video for his Wave of You music video back in the day. I remember, I think I told y'all about this. Even down to having the mermaid and all this stuff, merman, on on the beach or whatever. I think they shot it in Fire Island. But I do love this song from Like a Prayer. Number 24, Celebration. Speaking of celebration, I do like the song. This is back in the day when she had her little young thing up in the video. Her little boyfriend that she was dating, because Madonna was I forget which one of them was. It was before Brahim. It was a Brazilian one. And had him up in there. Even Lola was in the music video. And Calvin Harris, they said a sweetener for her third best of compilation. Celebration finds Madonna going for her own post. Peaches, Calvin Harris, trans pop banger. Peaches who? As in Peaches, fuck the pain away Peaches? And Paul Oakenfold produced it. I forgot about that. Number 23, Ray of Light from Ray of Light. Number 22, Hollywood from American Life. I do love that song though. Number 21, Hung Up from Confessions on the Dance Floor. Now, number 20, What It Feels Like for a Girl. 2001 from Music. I do love the music video for that. The music video was freaking twisted, especially having that old lady up in the car and they go robbing the bank and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, it was crazy. It was a crazy video, but it was definitely entertaining. Number 19, Deeper and Deeper from Erotica. I do love that video. I believe, or is he not in that one? Or is it Erotica? Damn, what's his name? Udo Kier. I had to really search the brain for that damn name. I think he might be in that music video. Number 18, Dress You Up from Like a Virgin. Number 17, Express Yourself from Like a Prayer. Child, I saw Gaga up in there. What they say? A melody so catchy, Lady Gaga borrowed it for Born This Way. Ooh. A couple of decades later, Express Yourself was a pop empowerment anthem. The first time we heard that tune. What is it? Reposit? To her own Material Girl, it asks girls to urge their men to open their hearts rather than their wallets to prove their love. Prove your love, got to prove your love. You know that song from Taylor Dane, child. But it's like, did she really borrow that song that melody for Born This Way? Did Gaga really take from Madonna's Express Yourself? Did Madonna get a little cointada out of it? A little financial compensation? I'm just being messy. Y'all know damn well she took that damn song and sampled it. Okay, number 16, Lucky Star from Madonna, the subtitled album. Number 15, Live to Tell. Now, I do live for this song, and I love the fact that she performed this song at the celebration tour. I think I started crying when she performed this song. I don't know what was going on with me. I think I was going through something, but I did get emotional when she performed this song. And I definitely, a top for me is I love her performance of this song when she did what is it? When she performed it at the oh my god, how did I forget already? The Confessions tour, bitch. It's like I'm forgetting stuff. Wait, hold on. I gotta oh yeah. It was like I had to do a little something with my mic, reducing like the background noise so it don't pick up all kinds of crazy sounds. But anyway, let's get back into the countdown because we almost there. We almost there. Finally, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. 14, Beautiful Stranger. You know what? I will say this. I don't particularly care for Beautiful Stranger. I mean, the chorus is cute or whatever. I liked when she performed it at the Drown World tour. I understood the assignment of what the song was for. It's basically because she was doing, it was for the Austin Powers movie. But it's not like one of my top faves from her. But I get it. It does the job that it's required. Number 13, Bedtime Story. Now I will tell you this. The music video still lives rent-free in my damn mind. And she definitely elevates Bjork's lyrics. Because it's like when I heard that Bjork wrote Bedtime Story, I was like, you know what? This sounds exactly like something Bjork would write lyrically. Today is the last day that I am using words. They've gone out, lost their meaning. So it's just like when that sounds like that sounds like some shit, some real deep shit that Bjork would come up with. And the video, which I heard was like one of the most expensive videos at the time, because I think they spent like $7 million on it. And the visuals and everything still live up to this day. I love the damn song. I love the video, and it's just iconic. And it's funny how like that was the closest she got to working with Bjork in a song, was like just singing one of her songs. But I will say this: I am curious as to what this song would have sounded like had Bjork recorded it. For like, what album would that have fit on? I'm trying to remember what album came out in 1995. Was it Homogenic? I feel like Googling that right now, but I don't want it to mess up the flow of me going through this countdown. But I'm like, did Homogenic come out in like 95? Or was it like, yeah, because I think Homogenic did that have possibly maybe on it? It's like, I'm trying to sit here and remember all the Bjork's discography. And let's move on. So we have Bedtime Story 13, Justify My Love at 12 from the Immaculate Collection. I do love this song and this video. Now we're about to get down to the wire. 11 is Like a Virgin, Touch for the very first time. A song Madonna will not perform ever again. But she did perform it. I will say this. I don't know if that's necessarily true, because she did perform it at Confessions Tour. And I definitely know what she did with the song, where she was showing at the x-ray of her broken bones. Okay, number 10, La Isla Bonita. Now, you know she does run this song into the damn ground. Madonna does perform this song a lot. But what I did not know is that they said apparently first offered to Michael Jackson as an instrumental, the hazy, dizzy swirl of Ultimate Holiday Romance is perfectly captured in this Latin-infused groove carried by twangs of Spanish guitar. And, you know, she does play this song a lot. She runs it into the ground and all that other stuff. So number 9, Rain, Feel It on My Fingertips. Hear it on my window pane. Your love is coming down like, what? Rain. The softest, most atmospheric, and least overtly sexual bit of erotica, but no less sensual and seductive for it. It's shimmering, trippy Gaia vibe, anticipated where Madonna would go a few years later on Ray of Light. And here she go with that damn Romulan haircut again. But I do love that song. And she did perform this song at the Celebration tour as well. Number 8, Vogue, Let Your Body Groove to the Music from I'm Breathless, as in Breathless Mahoney. So this was, of course, where she's been given numerous amount of credit for taking something underground and bringing it into the mainstream, mainly voguing, which, you know, stems from the Black queer ballroom scene from New York City, particularly like Harlem, the Bronx, Manhattan, you know, any part of Manhattan, uptown. She took that from there and brought it into the mainstream. And the ballroom community still gives her 10s to this day, even most recently, where she performed at an event in Brooklyn for Pride, where she, you know, gave her 10s or whatever, had her little group of people up there and spoke to the community and that sort of thing. So Madonna is definitely an icon within that. So I know a lot of people try to not give her credit, say she a culture vulture. I'm like, okay, go speak to the ballroom scene, because they will tell you otherwise in regards to that. Number 7, Frozen. Now I do live for this video and the William Orbit production and the dark gothic vibe of the video. And I remember watching the making the video when they did it on MTV, where they had Kurt Loder was on set and all this other stuff, and then they were showing the behind the scenes of how they put the video together, which was cool. But I also felt like the one thing about the when they did make the video, I felt like they gave away too much in regards of like the video, and then we saw the finished product, because they did that for I'm a Slave for You. They did it for a lot of videos, but Frozen is definitely like one of those real ethereal, sensual, trippy songs. And I live for the visuals for it. So shout out to Chris Cunningham, because he did the damn good job of putting the visuals for that video together. Number 6 is erotica, romance. I'd like to put you in a trance. So, erotica and justify my love. I look at those songs as sort of like the bastard stepchildren of each other, where it's just like real sexual, real trippy, and child, she was getting it was a lot of controversy at the time because people weren't used to seeing people being sexual in that day and age, especially in music videos and in music in general. In that way, like real being explicit about it. Not even explicit. It was just that people was it just goes to show that our industry is or the country as a whole, just a bunch of damn prudes. Number 5, The Power of Goodbye. I do like this song. And I forget who was the one that was in that video. Goran Vishnik from ER. I remember him. Dr. Kovacs. His fine ass. Whatever happened to him? Number 4, Like a Prayer. Life is a mystery. Everyone must stand alone. I can hear you calling my name, and it feels like home, bitch. And we live for this video still to this day. And they had Jesus played by Leon, and people was it was all controversial because she goes and kisses the black man. And people were showing their racist true colors. Still are in this country, if you ask me. But for the most part, the fake out backlash over the fact that they had a black Jesus, when if y'all really want us to go there with the colonization of Catholicism and Christianity, Jesus was black. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. He ain't had no damn perm out here looking like Snoop Dogg with his perm. That was not Jesus. You have a head made of wool, it's not going to be laid like, Beyonce with them diva fans going. Number 3, Papa Don't Preach. I'm in Trouble Deep. But, it was a song about if she was going to keep a baby or not. It was like shocking because someone at that time frame, especially in the mid 80s, doing a song about sex, possibly an abortion or women's rights. Who was doing that at that time? And especially the way she told that story. Now, number 2, they got Holiday. Now, it's got me wondering, what is number 1? All of a sudden now, I can't even think. So now, number 2, they said after the post-punk disco of her first 2 singles came Madonna's first proper assault on the pop charts, as she handed over production duties to Jelly Bean and changed her life forever. While it didn't leave her nightclub roots behind completely, it merged with pure pop melody and helium Little Eva vocals that effectively launched her career. Yeah, because it always sounded like Madonna was on helium when she sang. And now, without further ado, what's the number 1 song, bitch? Into the Groove. Get into the groove. Boy, you got to prove your love to me. And boy, did they. From Like a Virgin. Now, Madonna has probably some more emotional, more danceable, more experimental, and technically better songs, but as a distillation of pure pop joy, Into the Groove more than earns its place as her very best single, an irresistible, multi-layered masterpiece that twists and turns and drags you along with every single breathless beat. So, there you have it. So I wonder, even though I told you that was going to be a long one, what do y'all think of this list? Do y'all actually agree, excuse me, that with this list on the 60 best Madonna singles as she turned 66, I thought it would have been a lot more interesting if they would have came up with 66. But for, 66 songs, 66 birthday, y'all could add a couple of non-singles up in there. But anyway, I would love to hear what y'all thoughts are. Let me know in the comments down below. Now, speaking of comments, we got to scroll on up because it's a lot, child. Okay, so Jesus, it's a lot. Okay, so they said that young boy she was dating piped her into the house. Okay, because when you a woman of a certain age, should you be allowing men to have you still walking side to side? Because these little boys, they just be like, they just be going in. They just be like, they be just clapping them cheeks, champ. I mean, goddamn, do you ever think about taking your time I don't be understanding a lot of the younger ones that be like fucking like rabbits, like on whatever it is, like you gotta just got an adrenaline shot. I'm like, take your time with the whole. I know maybe it look good on camera or whatever, but damn, I like to have an asshole by the end of the night. I guess that's how some of them be saying. It was a single. It had remixes. Okay, so they said I did a remix for it last year. To My Miles Away. Every song on Confession should have been a single. At least internationally, Isaac, Future Lovers, and I Love New York are my top three. I do love I Love New York, although some of the lyrics are a bit cringe. Like the George Bush thing. Isn't that where they golf? I hate that line. Just go to Texas. Like that whole line that she does with that, I'm just like, oh, it sounds so outdated. But overall, I do love I Love New York. I love the musically, I love the overall sound of it. Like I like the production, all that stuff. I couldn't even think of the damn word. And they said the Gambler performance on the Virgin tour was iconic. They said, "Don't tell me it's too low. 43 isn't high enough." That song should have been higher. And so, like a Virgin was the first Madonna album I owned. My cousin bought it for me for Christmas in 1984. Oh, they just knew you was a homosexual that far back. It's like Beyonce did combine country music with other genres. Yaya, flamenco, Sweet Honey Buck, and it just wasn't electronic music. I mean, yeah, those and to me, to be honest, those were the songs that, in my opinion, stood out for me. I feel like with the other songs on the album, she was a bit too on the nose with the whole country thing. But I'm just like, yeah, you can give people an idea and lay the foundation, but you got to do your own thing. So I do agree with those songs. Yaya Flamenco with Sweet Honey Bucket is like one of my favorites. And I think that's because she worked with Pharrell on it. And they took the country, but then they elevated it and kind of gave it this other type of sound with it. They said, "How was Take a Bow so low?" That should have been top 20. Absolutely, especially because that song was huge when it came out. Like how many weeks, excuse me. Jesus, I'm burping on camera. How many weeks did Take a Bow spin as a number one single back then? I said Blackout is my top three albums of all time with the Velvet Rope and Ray. I'm like, oh, okay. Talk about taste. You got Blackout, Velvet Rope. And first of all, I do love Velvet Rope. That to me, I feel like was Janet's ray of light because she really experimented with that record. And I love the fact that she really took risks with that. I think around that time, like a lot of the girls were not afraid to take risks and stuff musically. We need to bring that kind of vibe back. So Brendan Fraser and Joe Pesci were in with it. Yeah, that's when Brendan Fraser had hair, a lot of hair. And so I had the cassette maxi with the William Orbit remixes. Yeah, child, first of all, I spent a lot of time in the Virgin Megastore buying up all those maxi singles and imports and stuff. Like even when there were certain songs like Cyberaga and so many other songs that Madonna did that were not even available on the album, child, I was in the import section just buying up all the songs that were the Japanese, the Japan release and then the UK release. I was doing even with Kylie Minogue when Fever came out. I was not waiting for the American release because I'm like, first of all, they had more songs on the on that version versus the American version because I don't think Butterfly was on um the American version. So yeah, she did. Oh, she did do Burn It. I told her I can't remember every damn song she did, but I was like, yeah, she did Burn It Up. Now that you think about it, now that I think about it, she did do Burn It Up. Yes, Jesus Luz, his fine ass. Whatever happened to him? Madonna definitely knows how to pick it when it comes to the men. I'm like, even that last one, she had that boxer. I'm like, ooh. First of all, they don't make them like they like New York men. They built different. So it's like I have been like Bjork's last come. Quiet as it's kept. You ain't the only one. Because I was sitting there like I feel like after Medulla, I really haven't gravitated towards her. What they saying, debut or post. So with the consensus says post, possibly maybe was on post. I feel like it would have fit homogeneous. Yeah, that's probably why I was thinking that. Hyper Ballad was one of my favorite songs on post. Nintendo was suing Elon. Child, look, they need to sue. They get in line because Elon is getting sued out of the wazoo. It always makes me mad when radical Christians get upset when they bring up Jesus wasn't white because. they've been lied to their entire life. And it's like, don't even get me started on how like a lot of the Christian faith is taken from Greek mythology. I mean, then when everybody was getting outraged with the French and that whole Last Supper, and I said, "Chad, where do you think all that came from? Like all of that was all of that existed. Leonardo da Vinci, all of that, Van Gogh, all of them existed long before Christianity was even invented. Like, what are y'all talking about?" I said, "How you know? You saw it? You read the article before I did." He said, Into the Groove was number one. And so, yeah, so that's why I said if it was number one for seven, because I remember that song was number one for a long time. Even when Take a Bow was played on the radio a lot, because I remember like back then, of course, like in the 90s, you had no choice but to listen to music on the radio. That's how we got to hear our favorite songs. We had to request, we had to call up the radio station and request a song. And I remember I used to listen to Z100 in New York, and that would be, or KTU. And Take a Bow was like huge on those channels, on those radio stations, and they were all, and it was the number one song. Forbidden Love was track 7 on both. And that's weird. I was like, was that intentional, or was that like a divine intervention type thing that just coincidentally happened? That is like we put 2 Forbidden Love songs as track 7 on 2 separate albums. Rejection is the greatest ever aphrodisiac. I need to find my documentary that I did for college on Madonna on YouTube, because I know it's on there somewhere. I just need to look it up, because when I was in college, it's like for your thesis, you had to film different things. And I remember I did like a video or something, and there's one thing that I still messed up today. Um, of one of her song lyrics, and I put it as another separate song, and I was like, damn, I wish I could go back and fix that. But I don't even know where that original tape is that I could edit it and change it. It's somewhere in my parents' attic. But anyway, so let's move on and let's talk about Alien Romulus. Child, that took me a whole hour to get through. But anyway, let's talk about Alien Romulus. So last night I went to the movies, as y'all know, because I told y'all I was going to go see it. And I went to go see Alien Romulus. And I have to say, child, that movie gave me my life. Shout out to Fede Alvarez, who basically has become this guy that has resurrected a lot of franchises. He basically resurrected the franchise of Evil Dead. Like, I love what he did with Evil Dead, the remake. Not Evil Dead Rise. He didn't do that one, but I love that he did Evil Dead, and that was like a really good one. I'm trying to remember if there was any other IPs that he took on, because I know he did, and I was like, oh, maybe he needs to start doing original IPs. He has. It was called Don't Breathe. The first Don't Breathe movie was good. Second one, not so much. And I don't think Fede was a part of that. I think it was like once you start doing movies with excuse me, with studios or whatever, they could pretty much do whatever they want with your IP, and then they all of a sudden try to turn Stephen Lang into this anti-hero, which I feel like would have worked in some certain places, but it just didn't work for me in that sequel. But anyway, so let's get to my overall thoughts. I'm not going to do a spoiler and give away stuff, because I know that it just came out last night. I want people to get a chance to actually get a ticket or go see it. So I just want to so one of the things I do love about this film, similar to Evil Dead, his remake of it, Alien Romulus explores this whole thing about sibling relationships in the middle of all the craziness that's going on. So I love this idea of that, because you have this girl named Rain, played by Kaylee Spaney, who is also in a movie that I saw. I didn't even realize that was her, because I think she just changed up her hair color. She was blonde in oh my god, what is the name of that damn movie that just came out with Kristen, not Stewart. Jesus Christ, I cannot remember what movie she was in. And it was like literally off the top of my head. Well, she actually plays a girl by the name of Rain Carradine. And Civil War. I don't know why it didn't come to me, but yeah, she was in the movie called Civil War, which I don't know if y'all have seen that movie, but definitely check it out. I also didn't realize that she was in a movie called Priscilla with Jacob Elordi. And she's a tiny little thing. She's 5'1", and she's 26. So I feel like she's going to have a career that lasts a long time. So the one thing I liked about it, the fact is that it's basically, to sum it all up, she plays a young girl who lost her parents to the mine. So now it's this thing where they live on this colony where I guess working for Weyland-Yutani. It's a mining planet of Jackson Star. And basically a bunch of parents, they passed away. Their kids end up being stuck on this mining colony, and they basically have to gain a couple of points so that way they could leave the colony and go, I guess, somewhere where there's some sun. So she lost her parents, and she's not the only one. There's a lot of people that tend to do that. And so she's ready to leave. She has a companion by the name of Andy. That's the black guy that you see in the thing. He's actually a Weyland-Yutani equipment that was kind of, I guess, thrown away. Her father basically found Andy, and they took him in, and he's basically part of the family. So she kind of considers him like a brother that they take care of, that she takes care of, or keeps her, safe or whatever the case is. So she was basically working tirelessly to earn enough to finally leave the place behind while, looking after, as I said, her synthetic adopted brother, Andy, who's played by David Johnson. Now, let's talk about David Johnson. First of all, this guy, I don't know who he is. This is the first time I've seen him in something, but he acted his fucking ass off in this movie. Like, literally playing a character where has an American accent based off of the chip that they had in his neck. And then when he gets this upgrade later on in the movie, when they go to the ship, which I'll get into, and he all of a sudden comes with his real accent, because I heard him speak in real life. He's actually British. So he's doing his actual accent. And then you start to see him kind of play like this hybrid of the droid from the first film and the droid from the sequel, Lance Henriksen from the sequel, and then the original droid that was in the first one, the one that malfunctioned. So you kind of get this hybrid. And one of the things I will say about this film as well is the fact that it basically picks a lot of the greatest hits from the original Alien and Aliens, as well as I've noticed that there was some lore from Prometheus thrown in. But Fede, who co-wrote the script, does a phenomenal job of taking all the best parts of the original movie and making it its own film, and also grounding it. And I know a lot of people were upset because they're like, "Oh, y'all got a bunch of young actors and stuff up in here," and I'm like, there was a reason why Fede intentionally picked these young actors to be in the movie, because he says it's harder for people to kill young people. So when you put young people in a film, it makes it harder to want to kill them all, which I actually think is good, because there's always like this unspoken rule in horror movies that, oh, you can't kill kids. Who the fuck said that? That's why I live for some of the older films from back in the day where they actually did kill kids in movies. So yeah, so she's trying to leave, but then again, something happens. She's not able to leave the planet, but then she happens to run into some old friends. Her ex-boyfriend, who is played by Archie Renault. His name is Tyler. And so then he makes an offer that she can't refuse. Apparently, there is some ship that's floating above them, the colony, and they heard that there's some Weyland-Yutani equipment that's just been left abandoned. And so what they want to do is they want to steal a couple of the cryo, like the tubes that we've seen throughout the whole movies or whatever, that they all lay in so they can go into cryo sleep, and they actually want to steal a couple of them, and then to get to the destination want to leave, because they want to actually leave. They're called cryopods. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. So they basically want to sneak off, go onto the ship, get these cryopods from a decommissioned Weyland-Yutani ship, and then they were going to actually use those cryopods to have their ship that they own go into autopilot so they can get to the destination they need. The thing is, it's going to take about 9 years for them to have to get there, so they have to be in a cryo sleep so they can get there safely. Only for them to not realize that when they get on this ship, is where a lot of those face huggers are, and all shit breaks loose. And when I tell you that all hell broke loose, I kid you, like, this movie halfway through goes off the rails, and literally the foot is on the gas full throttle and does not let off the. I'm like, there were so many moments where I was just like, what the fuck is that? Like, what is going on? What is happening? And there was a part even in the movie where you think it ends, and then it keeps going. And so I thought that he did a phenomenal job. Now, in regards of like the xenomorphs and the face huggers, shout out to Fede for going practical with a lot of his effects. I thoroughly enjoyed the fact that he took it back to basics with the practical effects. The set design, everything looked great. Seeing Kaylee Spaney in this role as like the new. I don't want to say the new Ripley, but since we're in where they're trying to revive the franchise, she is kind of the new Ripley. She does a phenomenal job carrying this movie. Now, as far as like the deaths and stuff goes, I'm not going to tell you who dies. I know a lot of times people feel like, well, the trailer pretty much has spoiled it. Yes and no, because a lot of times when you think that okay, the trailer spoils certain things on people's deaths, I'm like, yeah, that happened to them, but that's not how they died. So it's spoiled, but not really, if that makes sense. And the one thing I will say about this film that I love, and I really feel like horror movie aficionados need to take note about, is the fact that when it comes to horror, can y'all go back to actually having us give a fuck about the characters before y'all kill them off? And I think that's what this movie did a great job of doing. It literally made us feel for a lot of the characters in the film. So when certain characters passed, were killed off, I'm not going to tell you who, because I don't want to spoil it. But when certain characters were killed off, you felt for them. You felt bad. And then one of the things I will say about Tyler's cousin, the ex-boyfriend was Tyler, his cousin Bjorn, you kind of understood like why he was mean to Andy as well. They explain like why he was pretty much a bully to the Weyland-Yutani robot. Something pretty much happened in his backstory that is why he hates synthetics and treats them like shit. So I'm like, is there anything else I need to add to the film? So it's like, yeah, seeing like a lot of the stuff. Oh, yeah, they said, I was trying to remember who he co-wrote the script with. His longtime collaborator by the name of Royal Sayagwes, I think is his name. So one of the things I will say this too that I love about the film, they don't immediately jump to the chaos because I know a lot of times in horror movies or whatever, that's what they want to quickly jump to. Oh yeah, let's quickly just get to the kills. Like no, let it simmer, let it build up a bit, let us care about these characters, let us go on this journey with them, so that way when things start happening and things go off the rails. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention too. So one of the things was when they were trying to steal the cryopods, apparently it didn't have enough of juice that was going to get them to be able to go on their journey for a long period of time, which was, I believe, was supposed to be 9 years. I think it was only going to last them about 3. So they decided to keep going throughout the ship to find more tanks that will be able to prolong that time. So that way they'd be able to last the long period of time. Only thing they realized when they take those tanks out, it was thawing out the face huggers that were frozen. That's what they were using the cryo tank, the tanks for, was to keep them frozen so that way they can get into the Weyland-Yutani and they could do the experiments and all that other stuff on them and trying to prolong life, whatever the case the plot is that they were trying to do. So that's when all the hell breaks loose. So yeah, this movie definitely, it kept me on the edge of my seat. I was freaking out. I jumped a lot of times in this movie. I was literally screaming at the screen. And normally I'm pretty quiet when it comes to stuff like but because I was with a friend of mine yesterday, and I wasn't like grabbing on him, but I was leaning, like I was literally like this the whole time on him. Like I was tense, and that's basically what I want from my horror movies. I always want to feel like I'm just like about to freak out. It's crazy, intense things is gonna go, and yeah, this scene was crazy too. In regards to that, like the building of the tension, like Fetty did a phenomenal job, and I will say that I am pretty much excited to see where he plans on going post this because I don't think he's going to do a sequel. Um, I do feel like we'll probably be. I feel like maybe that we'll be getting more, depending on how this film does. I do feel like it's going to get more, eyes on it. People are going to want to go see this film, and I'm pretty much excited to see where they plan on going with this down the road. So I will say, is this the best of the franchise? No, because I have read people online that have said, "Oh yeah, this is like the best one ever." I'm like, clearly you haven't seen Alien, Aliens, but I will say this: Alien, Aliens, Alien Romulus. I feel like perfect trio. I don't care for Alien 3. Alien Resurrection, I pretend that shit don't exist with Winona Ryder. Um, and all the other ones. Like all the other ones I'll sit and I'll watch, and they have like a big, you can watch all of them on Hulu. But for the most part, that was a good one. Oh, I forgot to show y'all. So yesterday, before I get off, I got the bucket. So here it is. I don't know if y'all can see it, the Alien Romulus bucket that I got from AMC. It looks awesome. I almost didn't get it. And I'm gonna tell you why. And it costs you about $30, 32 with the tax. But the reason why I was gonna get it because apparently when the girl was ringing me up and she literally was going over there, I paid for it and everything. She was putting the popcorn. She was like, "You want it separate or you want it in the bucket?" I was like, "You put it in the bucket. I'll wash it when I get home." So she put the popcorn in the bucket. As she was putting it in there, one of the guys that was on register was like, "Oh, somebody already claimed that." And I'm sitting there like, first of all, what that got to do with me? Because I already paid it. I'm not getting no refund. I'm not putting it back. Like, there's a lot of times where I'll let things slide and I'll take the higher road. But, child, in this world, I am not taking a Michelle Obama approach. When they go low, we go high. Hell the fuck no. You better find another one in the back because if I paid the money and I wanted that bucket and I've been trying to go everywhere trying to find this bucket, I was getting that bucket by hook or crook. So I wanted the other one with the xenomorph head, which looked like a flashlight. But this is the only one they had. And I was like, okay, this is cute or whatever. Like if I ever want to have popcorn or whatever, I can always eat out of it when I'm watching a movie or whatever and have a great time, like with my little popcorn bucket. I really wish I could go around and start. That would be like a good hobby. I also feel that you can collect popcorn buckets, but it's hard to find these popcorn buckets these days because it's like people be buying them up. I think that Xenomorph one is at Regal, if I'm not mistaken. But overall, what had happened was a friend of mine pointed out, he was like, "Oh, but there's another bucket underneath the thing." So he's about to come over here and tell me, "Oh, I'm unfortunately." I said, "Unfortunately, what?" Because that ain't got nothing to do with me. It was already rung up. Now, if it was for somebody, what y'all should have did was not have it out in the front for me to see it as a customer to buy it. And then he goes and said, "Well, I thought I heard that," because the girl was like, "I didn't know that it was already paid for." He said, "Oh, I thought everybody heard me when I said it." Well, first of all, maybe you need to be better with your communication, sir, with your dried ass edges that you had, because them edges was way more split than Kunda's Owens. Quiet as it's kept. But and some old fat bitch was trying to was sitting there trying to be like, "Oh, I couldn't take the bucket." Oh no, sir. First of all, I paid for it. It's mine. So luckily there was another one there. Now, whoever that belonged to, that's an argument y'all gonna have to have on your own time. But for me, I paid all that good coin, $32 for this fucking bucket. I'm not giving it back. And I'd be damned if I can get a damn refund. So you snooze, you lose, bitch, is what I gotta say on it. But I say, oh, that does what did y'all think of this? For those of you who have seen Alien Romulus, did you like the film? Did you not like the film? I'm definitely interested in hearing your opinion. Also, are you actually going to go see the film this weekend? And yeah, and are you excited to see the movie? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. And so we have comments. Speaking of which, so I did a psychological analysis on Kurt Cobain project in my junior year of high school. Got a perfect score. Oh, what was that? Was that about his unaliving, or was it like his just like his overall discography? And it said, "Hi, Miss Tarot Drag." He said, "I'm so brave. I can't stomach horror films," which is funny because both of my parents love horror and gory movies. Skip the okay, because you was a pussy. No, I'm just playing. Um, yeah, I do like horror movies. I don't know. I think I like being scared and in peril. Not in real life though, but in movies because it's like I know at the end of the day it's fake. Wait, what? You said you could never. I would have offered the return of your money and cussed you out if you carried on. What are you talking about? At work? I'm confused by this. You said I would have offered the return of your money and cussed you out if you carried on. But you would have lost your job. And it said it was his life story type of thing. I brought it up because you talked about your oh yeah. Um yeah, we've all had our little things. But I was like, look, I paid all that money. Y'all should have. Are you talking about the popcorn? Yeah, I figured you were talking about the popcorn bucket. It was like, I don't want my money back. I already paid for it. I mean, that should have first of all, they should have communicated that, and you would have lost your job. It's like we would have to fight over a popcorn bucket. Make it make sense. But anyway, so Now let's move on and let's get into. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure I close out all these other things because sometimes I'll be up in here forgetting. The thing that's irritating me right now is that Instagram has pretty much closed out. Like something happened to my show. I mean, not my show. Something happened earlier. Um, where it's like they were talking about something was going on, and then I couldn't get back into my Instagram. Like it closed out everything. I had to assert myself back into Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, like all of my stuff. I'm like, what the hell's going on? But anyway, let's move on to this Beau DeMayo story, chill, because it's getting messy over there between Beau DeMayo and Disney. So a couple of days ago, we did a topic where Beau DeMayo was basically griping about the fact that he was not invited to the Emmys. He was like, I worked on X-Men 97. I launched it. I got it off the ground. I worked on the first 2 seasons. Now I'm hearing word that they're basically stripping away his um credit and stuff on season 2 because they already brought somebody in, and he revealed this yesterday. So the reason why I bring this up, and it's funny, the reason why I'm using it as a transition is because last night when I was coming from the movies, and it was around midnight, um, I was in the subway and I was just looking through all my social medias. I was like, let me see what's going on. So I opened up Instagram and I happened to come across Beau DeMayo's post. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I immediately screenshot because, these people out here, y'all say one thing, 5 minutes later, after all the backlash or whatever the case is, what you do is you start deleting things and then it's not there no more. But it's still up because I went over to his Instagram this morning and it's there. So I'm going to pull it up, his Instagram post. But before we put the cart before the horse, let's give you a recap. So, yeah, a couple of days ago, he went on social media, I believe it was Twitter. And he basically said that he had not been invited to the Emmys. And even though X-Men 97 got hit with a plethora of nominations, he doesn't understand why he has yet to get an invite. And I was sitting there thinking, like, okay, so whatever transpired behind the scenes, they just don't see it for you. And they're not going to give you an invite. And first of all, why would I want to go anywhere and be a part of something that people have pretty much fired me for? Like, I wouldn't want to go back to the job that I was fired at because it's award season and the possibility that my show will win. I mean, I guess what they'll do is they'll send him his Emmy. If he wins in the mail, the mail will get it in the mail. But that didn't happen. Or we'll just find out. So yeah, 5 months later, all of a sudden now, Beau DeMayo was piping up. And yet last night he went on his Instagram. Now please hold us. I'll pull that up. Second a second. And he went and said the following. He said, firstly, I'm so grateful to have worked on X-Men 97, collaborating with some amazing, talented folks. Creating the revival was a dream come true, and the support fans have shown is so touching. However, I felt it pressing for me to speak up in the wake of leaving the show. And this is 5 months after he was let go. He said, on the next slide is hashtag X-Men fan art I posted on Instagram for Gay Pride in June. On June 13th, Marvel sent a letter notifying me that they'd stripped my season 2 credits due to the post. Sadly, this is the latest in a troubling pattern I suffered through while working on X-Men 97 and Blade. I'll have more to say soon, but must take a step back from social media to find a safer space for me to be out proud and nerdy, which of course had a lot of people on social media thinking, so you were fired due to homophobia? That's what a lot of people were wondering because he's out proud and gay. And also, there was also word about the fact that he had an OnlyFans. So people were thinking that was he promoting sexual content for himself while working for family-oriented Disney. But then again, Beau DeMayo is behind the scenes. It's not like he's on camera. And quiet as it's kept, aren't there a lot of actors out here that have OnlyFans that are still getting work? And we're making money and doing TV shows and reality shows and all this other stuff. Tyler Posey has the OnlyFans, and he's on Surreal Life. That's one example. But here's the picture. But also, of him dressed as Cyclops. And I have to say, the fan art looks pretty good. But the weird part about the whole thing is that Pride was, what are we, in August? That was 3 months ago. You were fired 5 months ago. So the math ain't math. So what happened before then? But you're saying that they stripped him, that we have to remember what he said, stripped him of his season 2 credentials. He did not reveal why he was let go from Disney. What was the tea? What did Beau do? In the words of Willem, what did Beau do? You know what they said on Drag Race when Willem got chopped from the show. So some people in the comments were like, the world turn and the time and the universe will be very fair to you. Does that even make sense? I'm sure it will come true. You will be in a way better position than now. Stay strong and keep your head up. Patrick McDonald said, insane. We stand with you. Excited to see what you do next. I don't know if we should necessarily stand if we don't know the whole story, which Disney is implicating there's more to the story that Beau is not saying. And we'll get to that in a second. So a lot of people were in the comments. And then of course you see Robert right here tagging me in the damn thing. And then world famous 321 said, thank you for all your hard work, passion, blood, sweat, and tears. Disney is horrible for this. We, the true Marvel Day One X-Men fans, stand and support you. Keep on being you and never change. Which, of course, when people up in there windmilling hard for him, they was like, okay, y'all sitting here being, y'all windmilling hard for a man who's known for being problematic. Allegedly, this is the tea that's been put out there, that it was some egregious, problematic things that were going on behind the scenes. Now, without further ado, let's get into what Disney had to say. Because Disney immediately jumped on social media and clapped back at Beau DeMayo's accusations, where he said yesterday that he's not being credited for season 2's, the second season of X-Men 97, which I guess, what y'all gonna call it, 98? Are y'all changing the name? But I get why they would do that. When you bring in a new showrunner, you want to have them come in and be like, okay, so we already have the foundation laid. The blueprints is there. Now I got to come in and do my own thing. But here's the thing. I don't know how you're going to strip somebody of their credit when it's like, if I laid the foundation, I created the show. But then again, when you create shows and you sell it to a network, it's no longer yours. That's the other part. How you going to strip me of my own shit? It's like, I need to get some kind of credit. I need to get a little coin totter. But if I notice some of my stuff's still in there and you have the evidence, then go take them to court. So Marvel immediately went back and clapped back at Beau and released a statement to the Hollywood Reporter, giving insight into his firing, saying it occurred after an internal investigation revealed egregious findings. So they said above is hashtag X-Men fan art I posted. This is what Beau had said before. But let's scroll on down as I'm reading the Hollywood Reporter report, and saying that they basically said that DeMayo's behavior was the cause of his firing and for him losing his credits, saying Mr. DeMayo was terminated on March 2024 following an internal investigation. This is what a Marvel spokesperson said in a statement. Given the egregious nature of the findings, we severed ties with him immediately, and he has no further affiliation with Marvel. So if he wanted to know why they have not invited him to the Emmys, this is why. They have no ties with you anymore. They're severing it because they did an internal investigation, and according to them, they found some egregious things. What are those egregious things? Inquiring minds want to know, because here's the thing. Beau, you open this can of worms. I don't know if there was an NDA involved where y'all can't really speak. Y'all both speaking vague. I don't like vagueness. I'm like, if you're going to tell it all. If you're going to get on social media and y'all going to be out here trying to imply stuff was going on, homophobia. There was one I saw earlier today, and I don't even know if this is recent or if this is old that somebody was putting up. But there was one of him posting, I can't breathe, and it was George Floyd. It was literally George Floyd on one side of his mural, and on the other side, it was someone in, like, buried alive saying, I can't breathe. So I don't know if they were trying to imply that homophobia and racism was involved with Disney, because those are some fighting words. Those are some accusations. And you know that everybody out here, the accountability police, they ready to cancel a bitch. So these are the implications that I'm catching, because even though I hate vagueness, I can read between lines. So they also said that sources said that following his exit, an agreement was reached between the two parties over the issue of tweeting about the show, something that DeMayo had continued to occasionally do. In light of the breaches, his credit for season 2 was removed. While no details of the cause of the termination or the internal reviews have surfaced, sources said it involved sexual misconduct. So they're not even telling what it is, and that's why a friend of mine was in the comments earlier. That goes to show I didn't read the article because I didn't read it all the way. Because they went and said that there was some sexual misconduct type stuff that was in there. I'm like, did the report say that? Apparently they did. So now they said DeMayo did not immediately return a request for comment. Well, he's going to save it for his social media. He's not going to talk. But they did say that he was an avid social media user during his tenure at Marvel, sharing X-Men tidbits as well as shirtless pics of himself and even running a non-explicit OnlyFans account. Now, if he has an OnlyFans account, which a lot of people do, a lot of industry people do, a lot of actors, singers, you got people selling damn feet videos on Instagram. They still got a job. So I don't understand why he would be considered like that would be considered the thing. I don't think that's what it is. I think some more stuff went on behind the scenes that Marvel is like, I'm not gonna speak on it, but if you try me, DeMayo, we're gonna go there. And I'm not trying to say that Disney is all innocent in what they're doing or whatever, and that Beau is full on like they're using their David, like it's a David and Goliath type situation where they're using their power because they have this big conglomerate versus this young black queer man who is two marginalizations going against him. And you have those powers that be that have the money, the power, and all the influence to take this guy down. But they're saying that he violated some stuff. He didn't follow through with the agreement and they stripped him of his credits. So with the OnlyFans account and all this stuff, they said that this led LGBTQ plus publication out to declare him the sexy gay Marvel writer and showrunner to know. Now, on the surface, the notion that Marvel would strip DeMayo of a credit due to social media posts would stretch credulity, however you say that word. It's like I'm big words today. It's like I'm struggling, child. As outside observers note, the gay pride illustration is similar to any number of posts he made while employed at Marvel, and fired Marvel executive Victoria Alonso retained credit on projects she previously worked on following her exit in 2023, but the reveal of an internal investigation points to deeper causes. Despite the bad press around DeMayo's firing, X-Men 97 went on to be a hit with audiences and critics, earning Marvel Studios its first perfect 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes and garnering DeMayo an Emmy nom for the episode Remember It. Marvel teased his season 2 at D23, while the studio tapped Matthew Chauncey to write season 3 following DeMayo's firing. And of course, now that he's going to get his credit stripped, Matthew is probably going to go in with his team of writers and they're going to restructure everything and do things to their liking. And now here's the thing. We will see down the road what it is that is gonna if the show is gonna be good outside of what Beau created. I'll be watching with my magnifying glass to try to see if the show still holds momentum and if it's still good. But at this point, it's like, you know what? If they said they found some stuff behind the scenes and they really probably can't speak on it, probably because of NDAs, whatever. But then, of course, Beau's out here breaching contracts and saying things and making implications and alluding to things that he's saying may have happened, homophobia, all that stuff. You're saying that they stripped you of those things during that. He probably the reason why he probably put that up, I'm thinking, is because they probably just told him that, oh, you did something again and we're stripping you of your season 2 rights. So in order for him to get ahead of that, he came with that narrative. So I say all this to say, this still seemed like an open situation that we all gonna be speculating still, because I feel like based off of this, even the Hollywood Reporter report, Beau DeMayo's Instagram posts and all these things, I still feel like there's more questions left open than answers. We still running around here trying to figure out what you mean? Like, what really happened? And we really want to know what went down. And I'm sure that, down the road, we will find out the tea. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? What do you think may have transpired behind the scenes? I know there's been many of things going on where people have accused Beau of being a colorist, Beau of being homophobic in some sort of ways. Remember, we talked about how where they said allegedly he said that bottoms are nothing but a bunch of damn, what is it, disease receptacles or something or another. Like there's been many accusations where they've said that Beau has said some real polarizing things and has been accused of colorism, especially with when it comes to characters in X-Men 97. So whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. He said, I'm Catty and Shade is my middle name. That's probably why you watch this damn show. So he got paid, etc. He's a messy queen. I don't like cheap queens. I don't like messy queens. Remember that from Gia Gunn? I knew Sailor Mermaid was gonna pipe in. And so, oh, this is getting interesting. But knowing his pattern of being problematic in the workspace, I knew he got fired. I thought it was established that he was fired, or am I wrong? Um, yeah, I thought it was always established that that he was um that he was fired. And I always thought in my mind, Disney doesn't fire people or else they truly effed up. Also, he's a complete liar because Disney support the gay community. Look at the Don't Say Gay bill that was being pushed in Florida. That was another thing I was thinking too. I was sitting there thinking like, I'm not buying the whole homophobia thing. I mean, I did hear that recent story about the woman that was at one of the theme parks. I think it was Disney World or Disneyland, and she went ate at a restaurant, and she went shopping and died because she had like an allergic reaction to the food. And now her husband is suing the theme park. And I was trying to understand all that breakdown and whatever. So I'm not gonna say Disney is innocent in a lot of situations, but I don't feel like they would just flat out fire you for no reason. And they already explained also there was another person that was fired that was a showrunner of a show, and they still maintain a credit. So he had to have done something extremely, as the word they use, egregious to warrant being fired. They're not just gonna come all of a sudden pull something out their ass and be like, oh, you're fired for no reason. What did you do behind the scenes? I think he's trying to use it. Look, that's what some people were saying too. That it seemed like he was weaponized, like he's trying to weaponize being a person of color and gay to gain sympathy. And I feel like what people need to do, especially the ones that was in the comments, y'all need to look past the fact that somebody is fine and really look at, okay, now what's the story? Because the thing with me, I don't care how good looking you are. If you're a dick, that makes you ugly in my eyes. That turns me off. And I've encountered many people like that. So to me, it's like it shouldn't matter that somebody's got a great body that spends a lot of time in the gym. That's very attractive. We got to look beyond that. And I think that's always I've noticed a problem in our society. We tend to put a lot of relatively attractive people on a pedestal, and we overlook the behavior. You said I'm always late to the party, and this is particular time is not fetch. So I bet they paid him out. Reason, yeah. I believe that they probably did that because it's like, okay, we're gonna pay you for your time. We're gonna pay you for all the stuff you did developing the first 2 seasons, and then we're gonna give you a little severance package and send you on your merry way. And now he's like coming out here making little, you know, saying little things, and Disney saying, what you're not gonna do is lie on our name and our brand. And he was sitting there wondering why he's not getting an invite to the Emmys. Variety, allegedly a source with knowledge of the investigation, said evidence was discovered of sexual misconduct that DeMayo repeatedly violated his termination agreement. Mm. Oh, I know karma's biting him in the ass. Sexy man, yes, I won't deny, and a talented writer, but underneath it all, yeah. I mean, should I be shady and like, I don't know. I don't know, it's the steroids. Because some people make that accusation. Oh, girl, you on them roids? Because trust and believe, a lot of these homosexuals are getting help with the gym. Me, I go to the gym. I don't like enhancements. I don't like drugs. I don't like, I work out for every bit of, whatever. I like to lift my weights. I like to do my running on the treadmill, the bikes, all that other stuff, my deadlifts. I do all that. Because I've been hearing so many stories about like shrunken testicles and all that. Nope. I'm not doing steroids. The back knee and stuff. Like, I was so deeply insecure when I was a kid having pimples. I don't want to go back to that. So, yeah, I couldn't do all that. It said he obviously problematic, and I'm sure he don't see himself. Well, didn't we have that conversation where there was someone that he was raised by white parents, and people was feeling like that maybe that's where a lot of that colorism stemmed from first? Please hold, because I got Raphael telling me check my damn messages. I was like, what happened? Oh, wait a minute now. There's more to the story. So let's pull that up since we live, bitch. I didn't even know that there was more to the story. So now Beau DeMayo's lawyer is speaking out. So we're gonna have to add that to the docket. Hold on now. This is why I love being live. First of all, why is my chats not opening? Let me go to fuck it. Let's go to deadline. Because that's where the article came from. And I done close up all my pictures, but at this point we don't need photos and anything. Okay, so the rest of the story, because I didn't even know that there was more to the story, but I told her this shit was gonna come out. So basically, okay, so what we'll do is let's pull up the story so that way we could read it all together as a class. Okay. Now I need to take, oh, he said, check your messenger. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that up there because that's part of the thing. Okay, so they said the war of words between X-Men 97 creator Beau DeMayo and Marvel has escalated and gone beyond the comic book themed company to engulf its parent Disney. Brian Freeman, damn, everybody's going with Brian Freeman. And y'all know if Brian Freeman's attached, it's about to go down. Brian Freeman, who has handled some of Hollywood's biggest wrongful termination cases in the past few years, now represents DeMayo. He has issued a blistering statement to Deadline after his client's claim on social media that he had lost his season 2 credit on X-Men 97 over sharing gay pride-themed fan art was countered by Marvel's response that he was fired after a misconduct investigation produced findings of egregious nature. As Deadline reported, according to Marvel sources, DeMayo was investigated for alleged sexual misconduct, and the credit removal was due to breaches of the two sides' separation agreement. Freeman did not address the specific allegations, but blasted Disney practices, which he referred to as illegal multiple times, saying, and I quote, having much experience with Disney, the playbook is always the same. Family friendly on the outside, but secretly attempting to plant illegal and conscionable items in contracts that silence the truth and stop the employee/customer from asserting basic constitutional rights. In the past few years, the top lawyer has sued Disney on behalf of such clients as former ESPN broadcaster Sage Steele, saying, as we will explain through detailed examples which will roll out in detail one by one, Disney's model is very clear and a repetitive illegal pattern. Freeman continued, saying, once it gets challenged or exposed, the gaslighting and redirection of the blame towards anyone willing to tell the truth starts through an international well-oiled machine. Well, they said well-oiled publicity machine. And didn't I say that they earlier in when we were talking about it, that if they decide to pull like some David and Goliath type situation where, oh, well, we're a powerful conglomerate, we're Disney, so we can speak out on whatever because we have the money, we have the power, we have the influence to be able to do what needs to be done in order to take you down. But Bud was like, oh, wait a minute now, there's more to the story. So it's like, yeah, we all those other things that we heard about him as alleged, how they were saying the colorist stuff, that he's homophobic or like self-hating homosexual, all those other things that we would see, like the things that he posted on his social media that people have dragged him about. But if there's some wrongful termination type stuff going on behind the scenes at Disney, then he should be able to file a lawsuit and take their ass to court. So they said, as for his client, Beau DeMayo wants nothing from Marvel/Disney except the truth. He will bravely tell the truth, so will I stand by. Oh, you almost say, please hold. That's what it should have said. But yeah, he wants them to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But then again, sir, you wanted them to invite you to the Emmys. But I guess he feels like at the end of the day, I should still be able to go, and if y'all going to take my IP, or you're basically going to take my hard work, because X-Men, he doesn't own X-Men, but him developing X-Men for them, I should be able to go to these awards. I don't have to sit with you bitches. I just want to be up in there, accept my award, be nice and cordial, accept my Emmy, give my speech, and go about my very way and go back to working for the next company. So I say all this to say, yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on this story. This seems to be, and like you said, there's more to the story. Obviously, there was more to the story. He was being vague. Disney was trying to clap back and say, well, he's not necessarily telling the truth. They try to paint this narrative about sexual misconduct. We want to know what the tea is. So he's basically saying, oh, they're homophobic. And that's another thing, too. Like, I know it was said earlier in things that don't say gay, all this other stuff. A lot of times when it comes to these corporations, a lot of them will put on a facade for us. But if you have like a Glad or somebody that's going to throw a little cointada in your direction, oh, they'll like you and support you. Politicians do it all the time. So I'm not surprised if Disney on the outside is like, you pro-faggot, but on the behind the scenes, y'all a bunch of faggots. So, or effing faggots, because there's always different ways that you can rephrase the gays in situations. You can love us on, in public, but in private, y'all can't stand us. So I'm definitely gonna keep my eye, as I said before. I'm glad thank you for that update, Cleveland, aka Rafael De Jesus. I was like, thank you for keeping I'm like spilling all your tea. I was like, thank you for keeping me updated on this, because I'm like, yeah, it definitely goes in with the story. And that always happens when it comes to things, is that more stuff is gonna come out and more people are gonna be talking. I'm going to have to cut this up as like 2 separate clips. So let me know what you guys think of the latest on this story, this breaking news, in the comments down below. Damn, I need to come up with like a breaking news thing, so that way I know to click on that real quick instead of having to come up with a headline real fast. They say he got credit removed because of the agreement. They can't. Yeah. Well, now look, there's more to the story. Personally, I don't find him attractive, but that's just me. Well, to each his own. One person's trash, another one's treasure. If he can't get work, he might have to go back. Well, I don't think he left. They said he had non-sexual stuff on there, but I'm sure that if it comes down to it, first of all, he's got that typical body look, whatever, that the people in our community like. So he'll be able to get a gig if he ever gets to work in Hollywood ever again. Trust and believe. They'll hire him to be like maybe a go-go boy, host his own party. He might open up, he might start do porn. Who knows? I know it's like I reduced him to a sexual object, but isn't that what we do in our community? And it was going to say, see, his lawyer didn't comment on the sexual misconduct. He's working his way towards being blacklisted. He better start spreading those shit. Well, I don't know if he's gonna spread the cheese, because didn't he call bottoms a bunch of like disease receptacles? So I don't know. Allegedly, that's what the word is that they said that he said. But anyway, so we went and we talked about was it Alien Romulus earlier. Now here's a movie that I think is gonna flop at the box office. Let's talk about The Crow. So The Crow is gonna be coming out next week, and I think due to word of mouth, it is going to be Alien Romulus is probably going to be the #1 movie. Again, I feel like from word of mouth, more people are going to go check this film out because they've been hearing so much from all the YouTube critics, the Rotten Tomatoes score, all these interviews that Fede Alvarez has been giving. And I think like because people have been hearing so much word, they're going to go see this movie. Now, a movie that I don't think a lot of people are going to go see is The Crow. First of all, when I first saw the trailer, I was kind of indifferent about it. I was like, I don't know if I want to see this. Now, I like Bill Skarsgård, but I feel like, and he's a great actor. He's a really good chameleon when it comes to acting, but I just feel like he's not a real big box office draw. So I feel like that hurts him in a lot of ways. I mean, I liked him as the Marquis de Gramont in John Wick Chapter 4. I loved him as Pennywise the Clown. I also liked him in that Boy Kills World movie. I could not remember the name of that damn film yesterday, but Boy Kills World. I actually liked him in that. The movie wasn't that good, but him doing all the action sequences and Famke Janssen being in it, and and that whole angle, I definitely liked him in that film. He did a phenomenal job for what he was given. So Bill Skarsgård is definitely like a good actor. It's just that as a lead, I don't feel like the movie choices have been the greatest because they've kind of been bombs. And I don't think Boy Kills World did that great at the box office, and I don't think The Crow was going to do all that well either. So it says that after years and years of waiting for The Crow remake, it's finally coming into theaters. Hailing from Lionsgate and director Rupert Sanders, who directed Snow White and the Huntsman, this one will help close out the summer movie season with an R-rated bang. The question is, will this be a loud bang or a rather muted thud? A rather muted bang. Unfortunately, for all involved, it's almost certainly going to be closer to the latter. The Crow is not going to fly very high, it seems. The long-awaited reimagining of James O'Barr's graphic novel is looking at an opening weekend in the $7.5 to $11 million range, per Box Office Theory. That's not great for a movie with a production budget in the 50 million range. Granted, that's cheap for an R-rated comic book movie. Nevertheless, it's going to have a long way to go to get anywhere near profitability, even on the high end of those estimates. If it comes down on the low end, it's going to be exceptionally tough sledding. Well, here's the thing. I do think that it's going to struggle at the box office. 50 million, I don't think is that bad. That's basically, let's talk about it. First of all, the budget for that is way less than, what was that other movie that came out with Kevin Hart and Tilda Swinton? No, it wasn't Tilda Swinton. It's Kate Blanchett. That movie is not doing well at the box office. That movie is twice the budget. I believe it's over $100 million. So that's not doing well at the box office. That's the one that's taking a huge loss. I don't think that The Crow is going to, I don't think the loss would be so bad. Now, it is going to be a loss for Lionsgate, for sure. But 50 million is not bad. And I will say this, visually, when I've looked at some of the visuals and stuff there, for $50 million, they definitely did a great job with the budget in regards to like the visuals and the overall look. I definitely like sort of like that whole dreamy fantasy type visuals that they have with the film. It does look pretty cool. And I will say this, while a lot of people I know are just like, oh, the only Crow is Brandon Lee. And don't get me wrong, I love the original movie. And the music that was contributed to the film. Contributed. Not contributed. That was contributed to the movie. Including the Nine Inch Nails song. I love Brandon Lee in that role. However, the man is gone. Unfortunately, the movie killed him. He was working on a movie set and it happened, and then it was in a horrible accident. He's killed on set. And that movie still holds up. I know some people feel like it's overrated. Some people feel like they don't like the film or whatever the case is, that it's not the greatest superhero movie. It's got a cult following. It is loved by a lot of people. I happen to be one of them. So I'm not like trying to rush to the theater to see it. But I am curious to see what this film is going to be giving. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like we only got to wait till probably like mid-September or probably at the end of September. This shit will be out on VOD in like 3 weeks after its release. So I'm not going to run to the movies to see it. But if it came out on VOD and I decided to like rent it for $20, I'll definitely check it out. I mean, quiet as it's kept, it might end up on streaming service faster. Because look, I mean, even though it wasn't fast, Furiosa is already on HBO Max. It's on there today as we speak. And there's a couple of movies that, they rush it pretty quickly. Now, I should say that the original Crow from 94, so that was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, actually, not 20, 30, opened to $11.7 million. And it finished with just over 50 million domestically. I wonder what the budget for that movie was. But it does kind of give like that whole John Wick type vibe, especially with the action. So I wonder if, maybe the movie is actually much better than we think. I know a lot of people really aren't sold on the trailer. They don't think it's probably that good of a film. And I've noticed that the Lionsgate's not really promoting it as hard. I haven't seen any trailers on it. So I don't know. So I'll say, while I pretty much am not surprised the movie is going to flop based off of the predictions of the box office and the amount of tickets that people have bought so far, the pre-sales. I mean, I'm not surprised that it's going to flop, but I didn't think it was going to be that bad. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this? Are y'all surprised by these numbers and stuff in regards of the Crow remake? Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, now speaking of comments, let's go to some. Because I think the contract is going to reveal him being sexual and expressing it was forbidden, but Beau didn't know because the fine print had more restrictions and rules that would make Beau liable. Always read the fine print, or at least have your lawyer go through it with you. And it said, allegedly, Beau DeMayo reportedly sent inappropriate in various states of undress to several young male staffers, striking sexually. Well, couldn't he send me some of those? Okay, let me stop. Let me be serious. It's a young male staffers striking sexually suggestive hero poses that could be used as inspiration for the show. Well, if that's true, like, sir, you know better. Like, you should not be out here sending inappropriate stuff like, oh yeah, I wanted to kind of be like when we're doing characters, I want to kind of be like, no, like, especially, I would imagine, like, remember that scene when Magneto was on the thing and he was in his underwear? So it's like, what if he reenacted that? That shot. And my thing is, if this is what you want to do, you get somebody to create a storyboard and you discuss it at the meeting, or because it's so many technology these days, you can come up with stuff like that. You don't know any other people that work in the industry that's doing things like that. I mean, trust and believe, there's a lot of people out here that have been doing a lot of crazy stuff with Harvey Weinstein on down that have been doing crazy stuff and gotten away with it over the years. And they already know we in this era of accountability. So y'all can't be going out here doing this craziness. They said also allegedly Jeff Snyder also reports an incident that I like Jeff Snyder. That's what I've been talking about when I talk about the Snyder report. It said also reports an incident involved Beau DeMayo groping. Bitch. Boy, well, I heard about the emotional and physical abuse stuff, but yeah, you should be grabbing somebody inappropriate. It said original Crow was made on a $23 million budget and made $94 million worldwide. Well, that was pretty good for 94. I wonder what those numbers would be today. As in, like, they said it was a 94 and gross 94 million worldwide on a $23 million budget. What would a $23 million budget consist of in 2024 versus 1994? Because like when they always say, well, this money, I mean, this is the budget for this now, but what would it be in this era? Because they always change that up, especially like when they said, well, and I bought a home, I was able to buy a house for $30,000. And now it's like in 2024, I was like, okay, that's 94. But now in 2024, that's not even possible. It's like $30,000. Now it's 130,000 or something in that nature. It strikes me as harassing type. You tell him no, he goes harder and does not understand no means no. But look, if you're gonna get somebody like Brian Freeman, you better come with them. You better come hard with them receipts. Otherwise, you're gonna have egg on your face. So if Beau has reason to believe like he was wrongfully terminated, I'm definitely, gonna have my binoculars, and I can't wait to see how this turns out. In the words of RuPaul. Okay, so let's move on and let's talk about Teela from Masters of the Universe. So this movie is, taking shape. And Camila Mendes, who is real busy these days, she was from Riverdale. Wasn't she just cast in the I Know What You Did Last Summer remake? When did they start filming that? Because I was sitting there wondering, like, if you're going to have Camila Mendes playing Teela, who is from He-Man and Masters of the Universe, that sort of thing, how are you going to, how y'all working out that schedule? Like, y'all already casting the people. We already got the cast for I Know What You Did Last Summer already. So they're supposed to start filming so that way they can have it ready for next, 2025 in spring, I believe. So, as y'all know, a live action Masters of the Universe movie is in the works with Nicholas Galitzine, I think is how you say his name. He's been in a couple of movies. I think wasn't he always also, not always, was he also in that movie Red, White, and Royal Blue? I know he also did that movie with Anne Hathaway where she was like an older woman and he was a younger guy. But anyway, so they said that Camila, according to Deadline, Camila Mendes, who is from Riverdale, as I said earlier, has signed on to play Teela. Now, Camila Mendes has landed the role of Teela in the forthcoming live-action Masters of the Universe film from Amazon MGM Studios and Mattel Films. Mendes stars opposite previously announced Nicholas Galitzine, who plays He-Man. Her character Teela is a warrior who is captain of Eternia's Royal Guard, is responsible for protecting the royal family, especially Prince Adam, aka He-Man. Now, based on the iconic Mattel franchise, the film's plot is being closely guarded. Leica Travis Knight is directing the pick from a screenplay by Chris Butler. David Callahan and Aaron and Adam Nee worked on the initial draft. Previously in development at Sony and Netflix, Masters of the Universe is being produced by Escape Artists and Mattel Films for release exclusively in theaters worldwide on June 5th, 2026. Now, centered on the battle between the heroic He-Man, the universe's most powerful man, and the evil Skeletor, the Masters of the Universe franchise was introduced by way of a line of popular action figures in 1982. A year later, the animated series He-Man and the Masters of the Universe premiered, becoming one of the first children's programs to be syndicated on television during its two-season run. Damn, they only did 2 seasons? I always thought it was longer than that. Or maybe what it was that they used to repeat stuff down into the ground back then. Now, several other film and television adaptations followed, and today the franchise continues to span such consumer touch points as toys and video games. And so, for those of you who didn't know, Camila played Veronica on Riverdale. And she was in a movie called Do Revenge and Hulu's crowd pleaser Palm Springs. And what I'll say is this. I do think that this is great casting for her to be in this role. Because she if you look at the animated kind of version, I was like, y'all kind of got the same head shape. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where they're going to go with this. They'll probably throw a red wig on her. They could dye her hair and they'll add red extensions. Similar to how they did with the actor that played Archie on Riverdale. You could dye his hair. You could dye her hair for the role and add some hair extensions to give it more volume. Or the wigs lace fronts have gotten way better now. So you can get her like one of those human hair wigs and keep it pushing. But to see her being in this role, I feel like, yes, we definitely need to see how Teela could definitely do her thing in this movie. Now, in regards to like the tone, now here's the thing. I love the original He-Man series. I had the action figures. I had myself a Castle Grayskull. I had the Snake Mountain. I had Skeletor. I had He-Man. I had Teela. I had Man-at-Arms. I had Orko. I had all the characters from He-Man. He-Man was my guy. And I loved that whole franchise. I loved the series. I had all the action figures. I also had the A-Team. I even had the van. I even had my Cabbage Patch cut, have a Mr. T haircut. Yeah, I'm taking it back. Because like I said, I'm a child of the 80s. So, and I actually did like the movie. I used to watch the cartoon religiously. And I liked the movie. The one with Dolph Lundgren and Courtney Cox. I like the film, but what I'm hoping is that they do is that we get to spend a lot more time on Eternia and less on Earth. I hope they're not going to bring it to like let's go to Earth, fish out of water type thing. I don't want that to happen. Let's keep it on Eternia. Let it be like this war between He-Man and his royal, situation, going to war with Skeletor, and let's keep it grounded on Eternia. Now, also, I feel like tonally, if they could do something similar to like Lord of the Rings meets Game of Thrones, and kind of keep it in that vibe, especially like with Wings of Power and what they're doing with that. I didn't particularly like season 1, but so far season 2 looks really good. So I really feel like I'm gonna get back into Rings of Power because I wasn't really feeling the first season. I was left disappointed and it felt anticlimactic to me. But seeing the new trailer, the 2 new trailers, because I think they released one before. The second trailer for which they released days ago, of Rings of Power, I am quite interested in seeing where they're going to go with this franchise. Maybe they finally listened to the audience and was like, okay, we bit off a little more than we could chew. We disappointed the fans. We got to really rope them back in. So if they can give me like, especially because everybody's loving Game of Thrones, and I will say this, season 2 of House of the Dragon was a disappointment for me. It was, and I'm not going to sit and say that it wasn't good, because it was. But y'all left me on a damn cliffhanger. I was like, this feel like one long ass trailer for season 3. So if y'all can tonally keep it in that way and keep it like real serious and a lot of action and all this other stuff, but also y'all have y'all little moments, but y'all don't take yourselves a little serious. Y'all can crack a couple of jokes here and there, have a little sense of humor, but give it like that tonally, like House of the Dragon meets, or Game of Thrones, whichever one, meets Lord of the Rings, then I'm here for it. So I asked all of y'all, what do y'all think of this? Were you a He-Man or Master of the Universe fan growing up like I was? Are you excited to see where they're going to go with this from after years of being in development hell? Because we haven't gotten anything referably relating to He-Man since the 80s. So I like the fact that they are reviving this franchise. I just hope that they could do for He-Man what we've gotten from Transformers, because He-Man definitely needs his just due. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay. Oh, you're saying still the same thing. DeMayo was asked to stop sending such photos, but continue to do so. It said, wouldn't surprise me. The Crow would have had a 48 million, but let me find out you over here doing the math. Somebody got to, because I hate doing math. The Crow would have made a 48 million budget and grossed 133 million adjusted for inflation. Yeah, so I like her. What movie doesn't hold? Oh, you talking about Masters of the Universe? Yeah, it doesn't hold up. It's still cheesy, but I enjoy it. Okay, so now let's move on to some casting news. Nicole Scherzinger and them got a new job. So remember that whole situation that was going on in regards of like Simon Cowell and Netflix. Well, it looked like Netflix have developed another thing where they're going to find a way to bring new generation talent into the forefront, because we got 4 people that are going to be a part of a new show called Building the Band. Well, I mean, making the band was taken, right? So they got to come up with something. So according to Billboard, it says 4 of the world's most experienced boy band and girl group alumni are coming together to help foster the next big pop unit, with Netflix tapping Nicole Scherzinger, Liam Payne, Kelly Rowland, and AJ McLean for its new music competition series called Building the Band, which begins filming this summer. As shared exclusively with Billboard on Friday, that'll be today, on Madonna's birthday, the Lord and Savior, let me stop. Let me stop. The streaming service has recruited Scherzinger to be a mentor and judge alongside judges Payne and Rowland. McLean is set to host the show. Scherzinger previously served as judging on judging panels such as The X Factor, Masked Singer, and The Singer, so she has a lot of experience. Also, let's not forget Kelly Rowland. Catherine got experience too, but let's go on and finish what they had to say. They said, with its team of experienced boy/girl band experts on lock, which encompasses members of the Pussycat Dolls, One Direction, Destiny's Child, and Backstreet Boys, Building the Band will build together a number of talented singers and task them with forming their own bands without ever seeing each other. So this is going to give like The Voice almost. Isolated in individual booths, all they have to go on when selecting their bandmates is musical compatibility, connection, chemistry, and merit, according to a release. What will happen when the bands finally meet and looks, choreography, and style come into play? A description reads, with incredible performances, compelling drama, and one big goal to find the next great music band, the stage is set for an unforgettable experience. Now, additional announcements regarding guest judges and the show's various challenges are yet to come. Production companies Remarkable Entertainment and Benji UK are behind the project, with Kat Lawson, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to know all these people because I don't even know who the hell they are. So they basically said, building the band is a brave and bold undertaking for all involved, and as we hand over power to the singers themselves to form their own band based on chemistry first. This is what Lawson said in a statement. What looks out of the equation, can they create a deep connection with their bandmates? With limited bands, there are difficult decisions and heart-stopping moments along the way, but ultimately the outcome is truly amazing. Here's the thing. I have to say, this is a brilliant idea that I'm definitely behind, because didn't we say that the thing with Simon Cowell that doesn't work is the fact that here's this Svengali, this person that's been around for eons, who will pull together people and foster a group out of it. And if you're lucky, they'll be successful. When Quiet as It's Kept, One Direction didn't even win the season they was on. They came in 3rd place, I believe, but they went on to be one of the biggest boy bands on the planet. But having these people here, when you have AJ as a judge, I mean, as a host, I actually think AJ is a good idea. Number one, AJ, out of all the members of the Backstreet Boys, has the most outgoing personality. And I've always liked AJ. He was always the standout for me. He was actually one of my favorites of the Backstreet Boys. All the others, yeah, they was all right, but AJ definitely stood out for me because of his whole rebellious vibe. Of course, you know, Nicole Scherzinger, no shade, is the bit Pussycat Dolls. I know the other girls get mad, but ma'am, y'all need to be mad at Robin Anton for making her the lead and then actually hire a bunch of other girls to be in as singers and then have a couple of people in as dancers. So it was an unconventional way of having a girl group. Kelly Rowland, I live for her. She has given us a lot of bops, a lot of great songs, but I always feel like that moment when she's about to stand out, she kind of pulls back a bit. I like when she went into the whole dance music era. I say this every time I talk about her. She could have been my generation's Donna Summer. She decided to not go and do that and didn't want to continue with the whole Euro pop thing, which she was pioneering that long before all these other girls jumped on it, working with David Guetta and so many other people. Commander is still my shit. I still bump that song. I bump all her other stuff, but I live for the dance music more because it made, as a black performer, it made her stand out. Everybody doing this generic R&B pop shit. Then she decided to retreat and go back into that. So I do like the fact that, you know what, Kelly's a wife and she's got children and maybe doesn't want to travel as much because she wants to devote her life to being a wife and a mother. Come back to TV and make a little coin. There's way more money you can make being a performer in a reality TV space competition than singing. And we all know about Liam Payne, Fine Self. Well, wait a minute. Is he the one? I always forget. He's not the one that knocked up Cheryl Cole, is it? I always get, you know, the one that what do you know, I always forget who which member of One Direction he is, because we always know about Harry Styles. We know about Niall Horan. Because those are like the two big breakouts for that group. And Zayn, yeah, Zayn is Zayn. I kind of wish Zayn would have been the one that would have came aboard on this. He would have probably been way better. But we know, like Liam, wasn't Liam just on? Was he on The Voice? Oh, child, look, they said it. Yeah, he is the one that knocked her up. Well, look, he need a gig, so you know we can't give everybody everything to everybody. In regards of like, okay, who needs to do what? Look, quiet as it's kept. Cheryl Cole was another one. I know she's supposed to go by Cheryl, but Cheryl Cole is I've always known her as, so that's what we're gonna call her. We dead naming her last name. Cheryl Cole, you know, did X Factor and all those other things too. So why not? He can come on. He need to get, you know, he got child support payments. He got to pay. So it'll be interesting to see what he does because you know Harry Styles is too big. Zayn is not going to do it. Zayn, you know, always got his anxiety and shit that he be dealing with. And all this other stuff. So I like the fact they're keeping the three judges. They got AJ as the host, and this whole idea where they're leaving it up to the artists to put their own band together and go based on chemistry. And hope and pray, fingers crossed, that it works. But then you'll have the judges there providing mentorship and being like, okay, so based on the group, I don't know what they're gonna do if they're gonna do groups of three or is it just like one group and they're all gonna kind of come in and give advice or they're gonna be eliminations. Like I need to know the tea. This does sound like a good idea, but I will say this also, Netflix, a show like this, can y'all not drop all the episodes at once? Can it be sort of like, okay, give us the first three episodes, similar to like what Prime Video does? Give us the first three episodes, then release it weekly. I feel like Netflix, y'all really need to switch up how y'all drop shows. Because when y'all drop it all at once, like when I was watching Next in Fashion, y'all should have did that week to week to week. Y'all dropped the whole season. And then it was like, I'm forced to have to spend 8 hours watching the damn show. I don't want to have to force myself to watch something and avoid spoilers on social media. I feel like this is a good show, the potential of having a good show, but I just hate the way Netflix handles a lot of their shows and how they roll them out. The whole all at once thing, it depends on the show, but y'all definitely need to change it up. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Does this sound like a really good idea for a show that y'all would like to check out? Let me know in the comments down below. Yeah, I figured you was talking about Masters of the Universe. It doesn't hold up, but I enjoy it though. And who the hell is Grildor? Like y'all could have had Orko up in there. Like how you got Grildor? Like who's Grildor? Grildor never existed in the franchise. Y'all just created this whole new character. I want to know why Orko was not allowed. Was it because the effects wouldn't be able to hold up at the time. They weren't able to figure out how to make a character like Orko work. So maybe that's why they came up with a whole new character. Since they remember the old Mortal Kombat. Oh, yes, I do. And here's the thing. I loved the first Mortal Kombat with Lyndon Ashby and that tennis player's wife. And I love that movie. I love the first film. I remember I went to the movies to see that. And then I went to see the sequel too. I'm still mad about that because I went thinking that, oh, we're going to get another good movie. Went in there, that movie was a piece of shit. And they actually had, as Jax, one of the dudes from American Gladiators. That was a mess. Best, better option. That's what I said. I was like, you know what? Why Liam Payne? I would have been like, I would have loved to. First of all, I would have just been there staring at Zane fine ass the whole time. I was like, ooh, that boy is so pretty. But I would have been like, Zane would have been a better choice. I mean, you're only doing the show for like what? When you do these competition type shows, like a good month, they could have picked him to do it. And Nicole is busy too. She about to do Sunset Boulevard on Broadway, so that's why I guess it's good to film it now. I mean, it's basically a show where you got to sit in a chair and give advice, not like you singing. Yes, when Love Takes Over was a huge international hit, and it's still a hit in my heart. Yes, he is the one that knocked. Oh yeah, I heard that. It's like, well, they are breaking up Cobra Kai season. They've been doing that with a lot of the shows too. They did it with Stranger Things at one point. They did it with a lot of the shows where they break them up, and I feel like they should do that. Liam is troubled. Yes, he is. Thank you, Bridget Wilson. And I liked her as Sonya Blade. Okay, you can be private, but you can still like give advice and talk. I'm not asking you to like tell us what your favorite sex position is, but but he could have had him. It would have been like look, if they wouldn't have went with, I guess they had to pick somebody from One Direction because like they said, One Direction is like one of the biggest people on the planet. Maybe they shouldn't have did One Direction. Maybe they could have did NSYNC, but I think they probably been like, oh, it's too close to have NSYNC and a member of the Backstreet Boys, even though they all get along. But or they could have picked somebody from New Kids on the Block, but then again, they're probably busy because they're touring. But then again, they're probably looking at it as like we want different generations. So we need my generation that we grew up on. We grew up on the Pussycat Dolls. We grew up on Destiny's Child, and we grew up on the Backstreet Boys. Even though he's hosting and not, performing or judging. But then One Direction, you got to have them because that's the closest that we've had in a while to like a major group that was successful. I know some people are like, well, why not K-pop? Child, them boys don't really speak that good English. Like I've worked enough K-pop shows to know, like, for some reason they sound perfect. They speak perfect English in them damn songs, but when you get them to talking, America likes to make it seem like, okay, y'all need to understand what people are saying. And that was another issue that I had with Alien Romulus. There was two things. I forgot to bring that up. One, it was hard to understand with some because them thick Cockney accents. It was hard for me to understand what y'all was saying. Two, there's a character that was from the original movie that makes an appearance in the film. I ain't gonna tell you who, but there was a callback to a thing in the original film. And I'm looking at the CGI on this character, and I was like, that's pretty bad. So that was like one of the issues I had with that. I was like, oh, the CGI is not hitting for me. So any other time when Freddie had the practical effects, I was working, but I was looking, I was like, oh no, it's a miss. It goes to also show that we have yet to perfect, or maybe they were rushing and they didn't have enough time to perfect the effect. Wait, he died? I think I forgot about that. Yeah, child, let me tell you, Kano with that Australian accent, bitch. And did y'all remember the scene? I've watched that movie so many times. Like, there's actually a scene when Sonya goes to snap his neck. He actually spit on her leg. And they actually left it in. Yeah, I remember Billy Madison. I saw that Billy, speaking of which, Adam Sandler recently did an interview with Joe Rogan where they was talking about the Oscar slap. I was like, oh God, here we go. Why is everybody weighing in on this shit? Can y'all just like mind y'all business? White people love asserting themselves in black folk business, gay people business. It's like white people, y'all lives must be boring that y'all always got to assert yourselves in our shit. Especially when somebody like Joe Rogan, all them big old titties he got. Then I can't tell. I got big chest too. Okay. Ooh. So, I had to adjust myself sitting in this chair. Okay, so where are we with the show so far? How many more topics we got? I know there's a lot of entertainment news. One, two, three, four, five. I think we got like six more topics. So since we're already halfway through the show, if y'all can do me a solid, if y'all haven't already, and please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and also smash the notification button. I'm trying to grow this channel extravagantly. I feel like I'm stalled a bit in regards to like the subscription gaination of the situation. So please hit that like button, subscribe button, and smash that notification button so that we, when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, as I broadcast from my deluxe apartment in the sky. Oh, I wouldn't put it past him if he probably takes supplements. I don't take supplements. I told y'all that already. I mean, the only thing I would take as a supplement would be like those, you know, those shakes or whatever. Like if you buy the powder and you got to make those. There was one I had that I was like, ugh, it was gross. The banana flavored one, I was like, ew. I like, anything chocolate or whatever. Like I'll take it. Those type of supplements, but like no. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Miss Katy Perry, who apparently has been announced as the recipient of this year's Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. Now, yesterday, while we were doing the show, it was mentioned to me from, I don't remember who it was that told me in the comments, but they informed me that she was receiving the Video Vanguard Award. And I have thoughts, of course, because you wouldn't be here if I didn't. I always have thoughts. So the pop star, as they're saying, as in Katy Perry, will also perform at the event taking place on September 11th at UBS Arena in Belmont Park, New York, which I told you I don't live too far from UBS Arena. The show was originally supposed to air live on September 10th, but changed to avoid airing opposite the presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President, the orange asshole. Perry, who has won 5 VMAs, was last at the award show in 2017 when she hosted and performed. I forgot she hosted. That was a disaster, by the way. Since 2008, she has released 14 top 10 hits on the Billboard Hot 100, including 9 number ones. Her sophomore album, Teenage Dream, launched 5 number one singles, matching a record set by Michael Jackson in 1987 with Bad. The VMAs will air 9 days before Perry releases her new album, 143, on September 20th. So far, the album has put the singer in some heat. She was criticized for reuniting with controversial producer Dr. Luke on lead singer Woman's World. Child, don't even get me started. That's also not forgetting. Y'all seem to forget this as well. Lifetimes was also produced by Dr. Luke. They seem to always overgloss that, but I gotta remind you hoes. They also said, and we talked about this recently, Spanish officials have opened an investigation into the production company behind her Lifetime's music video for filming in protected dunes in the Balearic Islands without permission. Now, Taylor Swift is the top VMA contender with 10 nominations, while her Fortnite collaborator Post Malone is second with 9. Others who scored multiple nominations are Ariana Grande, Eminem, Sabrina Carpenter, SZA, Megan Thee Stallion, Lisa, who the hell is Lisa? Olivia Rodrigo, and Teddy Swims. Previous Video Vanguard recipients include Beyonce, Madonna, Janet Jackson, Missy Elliott, LL Cool J, Rihanna, Shakira, and Justin Timberlake. They also said David Bowie, the Beatles, and director Richard Lester shared the honor at the first ever VMAs in 1984. So the reason why, of course, they said the reason why they chose her is because Katy is the musical powerhouse and true pop culture icon. I'm going to try to read this with a straight face. With her game-changing creative vision, she has become a global phenomenon and taken over the world's biggest stages. Katy's prowess will be on full display live on the VMAs with a can't-miss career-encompassing performance celebrating her biggest moments and chart-topping hits, said Bruce Gilmer, president of music talent, programming, and events, Paramount and chief content officer, Music Paramount Plus. Damn, you got a lot of damn titles. What I should have did was gone to the Twitter and seen what the people were saying about Miss Perry and this whole situation because I didn't even look her up. Because it was like, they did put Katy Perry VMAs. I did see that trending. And let's see if there's some tweets that, you know, in the whole situation. Oh my God. Somebody put Katy Perry VMA entrance, and I gotta show y'all. Hold on, because this is funny. They said this. I said, y'all are fucked up for that. First of all, that's because Demi Lovato performance. Okay, so now let's go back to the other thing. I said that was y'all was shady for that one. Now what's the rest? Oh, I see Ray of Lights trending. I don't really see any comments from the people in regards to that. But I'll say this. Since I can't come up with none, well, I don't see immediately. I should have probably checked that earlier in the show, or what the people were saying in regards of her performing at the VMAs. And I was sitting there like, you know what? I don't know. I just feel like lately with the VMAs, I know y'all grasping at straws. Y'all trying to find people that y'all want to put up in there and give them the accolades, give them the spotlight, give them the video vanguard. And yes, here's the thing. Katy Perry is somebody who has definitely giving us some bops, giving us some visual things that we could appreciate her for, when she did, from the Teenage Dream album and so many other things. But after her first two albums, which was what? Prism and Teenage Dream, I feel like after that, she's kind of stalled creatively. I mean, we all know that she's about as deep as a pond when it comes to the creativity and the artistic, fortitude and all that other stuff. That she's got a team of people that helps her look good. I guess she may have fired that old team because the new team seems out of touch, or maybe it's just they'll run out of ideas. But I don't think people even care enough to want to watch an award show on a channel that hasn't played music videos since the mid 2000s. So I don't know. For the most part, like I said, I will, since I have Philo, I'm gonna record the show for media purposes. I'm gonna record the show. I'm gonna watch it. Fast forward through all the stuff because I don't care about the awards and who's gonna win or whatever the case is. I mean, maybe I'll give it a gander just to see, like, okay, so what's going on? Like, who's the nominations? And if it's interesting enough, I'll tune in. But if I get bored, I'm gonna fast forward to the performances because that's usually what people go to watch the VMAs for anyway. Y'all watch for the performance aspect. You watch it to see who's gonna be there, who's gonna perform. But I have to say, like, that excitement that I used to get back in the day when I used to watch the VMAs back when they actually played music videos and you had like the creme de la creme of pop acts that would show up. Like you had, Nirvana, and you would have Foo Fighters, you would have Green Day and Madonna and, Beyonce. You would have, well, back when she was with Destiny's Child, you would have NSYNC and Britney Spears and the Backstreet. You would have all these people that would show up and they would perform and they were like really like giving us an amazing award show that rivaled a lot of these other musical award shows, the Grammys and stuff. Like MTV was it back then because they weren't taking themselves too seriously like the Grammys were. So they created a thing of like, what it was my generation. We appreciate all that stuff. Now it just seems like the younger generation, they don't care about award shows and they don't care about all this other stuff. Now they're going to watch because, Taylor Swift's going to be there, Chappell Roan's going to be there, and all these other, their favorite artists. And we'll see how well they do. But for the most part, in regards to the whole video Vanguard thing, outside of that, when's the last time Katy Perry kind of gave people overall excitement regarding music videos? I just feel like there's so many other people y'all could have put up for that awards situation. Lady Gaga would have been perfect. Why didn't y'all pick her? Or is she gonna be the recipient next year when she has her new album come out? Because I feel like that's gonna be in my deepest of guts. That's who y'all gonna pick. Y'all be like, oh, well, we're gonna pick Lady Gaga in 2025 because she has a new album out. And she's someone who definitely has pushed the boundaries in regards of her visuals. I'm surprised they haven't given Marilyn Manson one with all the stuff he be doing. But I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this? Do y'all think that this is well deserved, that Katy Perry should have been chosen as the Video Vanguard recipient at the VMAs? Like I told you, I will watch and see how all that goes down. But Maybe she just needs all the help that she can get because nobody cares about that new album she had coming out. So let me know what you guys think of this story. I mean, besides the Katy Cats, but let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Huh. Oh, you said I was buffering. Yeah, sometimes that happens, you know. Oh, you said Lisa of Blackpink. Thank you, because I was like, who was it? Oh, I see. You was talking about testosterone. Well, yeah, you know, at a certain age, men start to lose a bit of that testosterone. So they take like the HGH, which would be like human growth hormones or whatever. I feel like if I was having like low libido and stuff, I probably would do the same thing. There was this thing that I was hearing people talking about. I really wish I would have known what it was. That they said that people take a supplement, but the thing is, it gives them like this high sex drive, and they wind up having sex multiple times a day. I think the porn stars was talking about it. They said Katy's videos, the first 5 years were good. Yeah, agreed. That's what it was like. The first 5 years of her career, her first two albums, it was like, yeah, she was that girl. Now I can understand. See, like now this like the music. If y'all would have gave her a damn Video Vanguard 10 years ago, this would have made sense. But in 2024, I feel like the industry is stumbling and is out of date and out of touch. I feel like a lot of these people behind the scenes, Katy's team, Capitol Records, y'all all fumbling the bag over there. Oh, you said Lisa of Blackpink. I think I already said that already. The last video I liked of Katy's was Dark Horse was a good one. Wasn't that when she was walking like an Egyptian? Demi is so dramatic. I can't with her. But you know, I had to pull that video up because they were trying to say that's how Katy's gonna open her set. See, Brown Bunny found it funny. And so I don't know why, but they still do it when MTV shows nothing music because they got to keep the momentum going. But then here's the thing: I feel like MTV, you're gonna have to address the elephant in the room sooner or later. Like y'all don't play music videos. Video Vanguard, I feel like the newer generation of artists don't really put as much momentum in creating music videos anymore. So how are y'all gonna keep that going, the VMAs going, if people aren't really gonna be out here creating music videos? Now they're doing visual what do they call them? Like damn, what's the word? Like these visualizer thingies. And mapping that as a music video. The artists aren't really making music videos anymore. They're creating like these visual things as a promo for the song, but it's not technically a music video. I haven't watched the VMAs in like 10 years. I mean, I only watch for the whole thing about the awards. Like that's the only reason why I watch it. But for the most part, I feel like a lot of people aren't really, It said Madonna was the first female artist to win the Video Vanguard Award. She wore the dress she had on the True Blue video. Oh, she said I already got it, silly. Well, give it to her again. It said you're talking about the honey pack. Probably, I need one of those. I keep seeing people talking about it. Yeah, I was seeing that on there too. I'm like, child, what's that going to do to me? Is that going to have me like humping everything like I'm a damn dog? Music videos aren't good marketing tools. Yeah, I feel like that these days people feel like why spend money on a music video when there's social media? You can go on Spotify, you got TikTok, you have all these different formats that you could use to shoot music video. I mean, reveal music, release music videos, or release your music. Plus, music videos are extremely expensive, and a lot of these DIY artists can't even afford to pull together $100,000 to shoot a music video. So why even go there? They said now some people film their music videos on their phone. That too. The iPhones are so good now that you don't even need to go buy like this expensive equipment. Yeah, they do lyric videos, they do visualizers, they do all kinds of stuff now. I know Spotify was trying to do something where you can play music videos on their app. Oh, that sounds interesting. Although, Spotify do piss me off with some of the stuff that they be doing. And it said Video Vanguard child agreed on Marilyn Manson, though terrified my ass as a child with those. Well, look, Marilyn Manson released 2 new songs yesterday and dropped the video today. If you haven't heard, when I brought it up in the show earlier. But yeah, Marilyn Manson should get music video awards too, but they always want to go with like the people who are safe, pretty, whatever. I feel like that the industry these days, they thumb their nose up at rock stars. It's all about like pop acts and R&B and hip hop. or mostly hip hop and no, the safe music. It's like, what happened to everybody? All of a sudden, everybody's so damn conservative. Art's supposed to provoke and shock for the most part. They create TikTok dances to promote their music. Yeah, remember when Katy Perry was trying to do that recently? So anyway, let's talk about the Real Housewives of New Jersey because apparently Frank Catania is saying that Teresa Giudice has been fired from the show. Now I don't know how he would know this when Andy and them don't even be revealing anything about that until like literally at the last minute. And I'll give my opinion on whether or not I believe him. But I just did an interview with him recently where he did with Rachel Yucatel, and he was talking about the Housewives and the finale and Teresa and all of them and defending Dolores, saying like how she played Switzerland, Black Dolores, who was his ex-wife. Wendy Williams called her Black Dolores, so we're gonna run with it. And how he and how he was holding people's accountable feet to the fire and all that other stuff, which I actually agree with. I feel like you should hold people's feet to the fire when they say stuff and not just be, oh, I'm just because I'm your friend, you could do no wrong. So has the OG left the building? Now, Teresa Giudice, who has become the face of the Real Housewives of New Jersey since the show's inception, was allegedly asked to leave the show, according to Dolores Catania's ex-husband, Frank Catania, saying, and I quote, according to page 6, I've heard some speculation about Teresa being asked to leave as opposed to being fired. This is what he said on a recent episode of the Lisa Alasti podcast. I have no idea who Lisa Alasti is. He said, but it's a shame because, I see Teresa landing someplace because Teresa, across all the franchises, is probably the most recognizable housewife in the world. Giudice is 52, has been rumored to be leaving Real Housewives of New Jersey for a handful of years, but has continued to deny the gossip. Now, whether the Bravo celebrity exits the series or not, Catania declared on the podcast that he sees a rebrand coming soon. So I suspect that they're going to be dropping off some people and bringing additional new people in, as well as keeping some people on. You can't continue the way you're doing it now because right now it's basically two separate shows. You got a reality show where half the cast won't film together with the other half of the cast. How are you supposed to have a reality show? Now, of course, Catania was referring to the nasty feud between Giudice and her sister-in-law, Melissa Gorga. The pair have filmed together minimally since the season 13 reunion in 2023. Now, Catania, who was married to housewife Dolores Catania from 1994 to 1998, also said he feels Giudice has changed in recent years, saying, she's changed. In my opinion, she has changed since her husband Louis's been around. She's just not herself, not the Teresa I grew up with. And you know what? That's been the overall argument from a lot of people. A lot of people feel like Louis Ruelas, since he came a part of the show, he has ruined the franchise. And I actually happen to agree. Like, she's even at a point where, remember, the kids are off limits. Kids have always been off limits in regards to when people say stuff about them. However, Louis, which the recent way he said about Margaret's son, she doubled down on it because Teresa hates Margaret so much that any little thing, you're going to want to blame it on her. And Teresa is one of those people, and I can't stand people like this. When you tell them the sky is blue, they will literally look at you in your face. No, it's not blue, it's green. They'll just literally just believe what they want to believe. She's in her own little delusional bubble. So she's so far gone that it's just like, okay, there's no reason with you, sis. Like, you're just out of it. And I really feel in my heart of hearts that Louis is a bad guy. He's bad news. But you know what? She grown. She married him, and she gonna have to and didn't sign a prenup like a damn idiot. And when he take her for her money, if there's any left, because they always vacationing, and I'm sure she's the one footing the bill. And she's very old. She's an old school Italian. That is like a man could do no wrong in her eyes. Good, bad, or indifferent. She's gonna stand by her man regardless. Which ended her behind up in jail the first time with Juicy Joe. So I do feel like at this point, what they need to do is y'all gonna have to rebrand. First of all, doing a whole separate seasons. Then y'all had to do a watch party where you have one group in one room, another group in another room, and they're reacting to stuff throughout the season. It's like, no. First of all, I don't give a damn if you can't stand your own mama and she on the show. Y'all sign up for this show to do what is required, which is y'all show up, you do your scenes, and go about your business. If y'all can't come in and work collectively, shoot scenes with each other, even if you can't stand each other, and at the reunion, hash it all out and let it go, then y'all don't need a job. Because if I'm getting paid allegedly a little over $2 million a season to do a show, oh, you best believe I'm gonna sit across from the person I can't stand and play the game. Because what other job do you know you make over $2 million a year where you just show up all glammed out, looking fabulous, and reading people for 6 months while they film 14 episodes of a show plus a reunion? How many other parts they want to give you? So I don't understand that. So that's why I said it's time to clean up. Now, do I believe that Teresa is coming back next season? I feel like because, well, we don't know until the situation happens. But in my gut, I feel like she needs to go simply because your association with Louis, he is bringing you down. He is bringing down the show. The crazy stuff that y'all doing outside the show, with pulling receipts and hiring lawyers and doing all kinds of crazy stuff to dig up dirt on people. Like, y'all taking it beyond what this show should be, just to vindicate yourself, only to come up with egg on your face. So I do feel like Teresa needs to go. I don't give a damn how long you've been on here. Everything that has a beginning has an end. Everybody who's been the OG has been kicked off. Look at Nene Leakes. She thought she was a bad bitch. They showed her, didn't they? So if they decide to keep her around with all the crazy stuff that she's doing, but you get rid of Kenya, you get rid of Nene, you got rid of Dorinda, you got rid of all these other people, then you need to go too. So while I don't necessarily, I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people have heard that about, you know, she's gone or whatever the case is. I don't believe that that is what truly has happened. So I say all this to say for my housewife fans, do you believe what Frank is saying? I know one person that was in the comments over on Rachel Yucatel's interview with him, they were trying to discredit him over his opinion on the show overall and him going against Teresa and all of them, but he's got a mind of his own or whatever. And they were basically saying, oh, well, he's been disbarred and he had all these other situations that happened in his past. So y'all really gonna listen to him? Like, what kind of credibility? I say, okay, so because of his past, y'all don't want to listen to what he got to say. He doesn't have a leg to stand on. But Louis has been accused of a lot of things, including currently, but y'all are willing to overlook that. But y'all want to play the tit for tat because your fave is being feet is being held to the fire and she's being held accountable, especially when we live in a society of accountability. You know, people have to be accountable for the things that they do and they say. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, you're saying that. I hate that everyone wants to sound like each other. Said be original. Absolutely. And I do agree. Well, you talking about Teresa? Yeah, she damn sure is toxic. And if it comes down to your husband and ruined your future endeavors or your chances of staying on the Real Housewives of New Jersey, so be it. Look, she's about to be on House of Villains season 2 with Candy Muse. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that season. Candy says she's getting into it with everybody on that show. So I'm looking forward to seeing that show when it comes on. I think next month. And I'm sure she'll bounce back. They'll do an Ultimate Girls Trip, put her on there. They'll have her. Maybe she'll do a season. Did she do a? No, she didn't. Oh, I don't remember. I never saw season 1. I seen season 2. Did she ever do a season of The Traitors? If she hasn't, she can go on that. There's plenty of reality shows she could go on. She can even do Surreal Life. Teresa could stay find a way. There's so many other reality shows now that they could put her on where she could make a little coin. But anything involving Louis, they got to cut ties with that. They burn that bridge. And, you know, Andy's pissed at this point, especially with Jen Aiden giving screeners to bloggers, which a lot of people do that. Lisa Rinna was doing it. There's a bunch of people that be doing that, where they let bloggers see the screener so that way they can get ahead of the story or whatever. But the way that Jen was going about it was sloppy. Okay, so now let's go from one soon-to-be former housewife to an actual former housewife. Well, let's talk about Bethenny, who is comparing Blake Lively's current situation to Hannah for Lopez. So Bethenny believes Blake and Hennifer have something in common. Now, Frankel, who's 53, seemed to stand up for Lively as she describes how celebrities tend to take on multiple lucrative audiences, which can overwhelm their target audience. Now, you know, Blake is in a new film where she plays a woman who becomes embroiled in an abusive romantic relationship, but Lively has been receiving criticism over how she's been promoting the movie. The actress recently did a pop-up for her line of non-alcoholic beverages, Betty Buzz, that was inspired by Lively's character in the film. She also launched her own line of hair care products last week, shortly before the movie's release. Now, in video taking during a walk on the beach, Frankel seemingly attempted to sympathize with Lively. Now, of course, we do have those clips. Because I gotta make sure that it's ready before we go live. Wait, hold on, because it's like the other TikTok is messing up too. There's actually two different that I'm wanting to play. Her second take, I actually agree with more so than her first take. But now we got it. We're ready. And we'll play those clips and then we'll come back with my overall thoughts. Please hold.
So many people asking me to discuss the Blake Lively controversy. So I don't know her. Her publicist I worked with at the very beginning of my career for a brief period of time. Justin Baldoni came on my podcast. But what I think is that celebrities have now reached a fever pitch of trying to triple and quadruple dip in monetizing businesses other than their core business. And traditionally, celebrities just made money on movies and television. But now it's become a common practice to try to really bum rush and smash and grab as much as you possibly can at the same time. So if she's dressed and in hair and makeup and doing a press tour for a movie, leaving her family and kids, and so is he, she's going to maximize it. And this was an issue with Jennifer Lopez as well, who was marketing two movies, her drink, her relationship, an album, and a tour. And the audience got waterboarded and didn't want it. And in this case, what's happening is this is a very sensitive subject matter, the basis of this movie, and to be promoting a cocktail brand and a hair care product and talking so much in a lighthearted way about a topic that for most people, but women in particular, is not a lighthearted topic. You are all a very savvy audience and it's just not sitting well. That's what I think is going on. You can't fit 25 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. It will explode and then you'll have shit all over you.
I mean, talk about get to the point. It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like you cannot shove a whole bunch of shit in a bag that can't fit in there because, yeah, it will explode. And I think that's absolutely the truth. To me, I feel like it's just tone deaf on Blake Lively's part. First of all, this whole rollout of this movie is tone deaf. Yeah, I heard that the movie is doing well at the box office. Congratulations, that is a huge hit for you, Miss Blake. But the way that the story was coming out with her and what is it? The actor director that she's been butting heads with and how she tried to overtake his movie and all this other stuff. And it's like if you're playing a woman who's in an abusive relationship, why the hell are you trying to hawk liquor and hair care products? You're not a reality star. And that's the thing that irritates me about these one percenter type people. Like, you got enough money from who you're married to. And I don't know if it's like Blake Lively. I mean, Blake Lively's career, of course, is not as popping as Ryan Reynolds. Like, she basically gives me, like, her level of acting is on the same level, or level of superstardom is on the same level as Jessica Biel. And that's no shade, but she gives me Jessica Biel tease in regards of, like, how her whole situation is set up. And if you're gonna do a movie, especially with this heavy subject matter, like I get Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer is on a different situation because she's been a Jill of all trades from the beginning of her career. Once she did the whole Selena movie, she was like, okay, now I'm gonna capitalize on music. And then when J-Lo, that second album came out, then she started to brand herself into more products and stuff. So Jennifer's been doing this for over almost 3 decades of hawking a lot of different products. It's just also at a time you got to think like fans get overwhelmed by all of it. And also you have to think that I keep telling this a million times, and I don't care if I sound like a damn broken record, but I feel like a lot of these artists, what's missing, and I feel like the number one word that I keep bringing up on this show is authenticity. If it doesn't come across as authentic, if it doesn't come across that people can relate to it in some sort of way, people are not buying your product. And to me, Blake does not come across as a genuine person. There was a recent thing that I saw, an interview that she did with a woman who she gave it was like a video that came out years ago, I guess. Congratulated Blake on her baby bump. Because I know she was pregnant. She has 4 children now. And she was like, oh, congratulations on your bump. Mind you, the woman has fertility issues. Didn't know that. But I guess she was trying to be kind of whatever, witty, funny, whatever the case was, being shady. And then the woman asked Blake another question. And then I guess Blake was being very dismissive to my, well, in so many ways, I'm paraphrasing, that I wish there were other things you could bring up besides my clothes or whatever the case was. Because I guess she feels like, oh, because she's a female reporter, that why can't you, what you want me to ask you about global warming and what do you think about Trump's latest rant? Like, are those the questions you want? But I guess in so many ways, actors and performers get tired of reporters asking them questions about fluff stuff, your hair and all those other things. But I agree with that. It's like that's kind of like tone deaf. That if you're playing a woman who was abused, why the hell are you trying to sell me non-alcoholic beverages? Like, make that make sense. I understand. Well, I really don't. I was gonna say I can understand Hannah, but I actually don't understand because how she's selling drinks when she said that she don't drink, and number two, you're married to an alcoholic. We discussed that yesterday. But there was another clip that I got of Bethenny's where she gives a second take on, the whole situation with this whole Blake situation, the whole situation, the Blake situation, the whole Blake situation. Please hold as we get to that one.
So I have another Blake take as it pertains to classic celebrities like Blake Lively and Jennifer Lopez. So they used to be modern celebrities because in the 30s to 1959, there were these Hollywood golden actresses that were effectively owned by studios. So that has evolved into these A-list celebrities that are very much managed and controlled by teams and their PR. They're protected, they're shielded, they do press tours, but the questions are vetted and it's all very controlled. Red carpets are controlled. It's all very measured, controlled, methodical, and it's worked through a PR machine. Now in 2024, different people are famous for different things, and it's a direct to consumer content model. So these actresses, these celebrities, they don't know how to abide by the rules of 2024 because there really are no rules. You just have to be authentic. You have to really connect with your audience in a meaningful and truthful manner. And their PR and management teams are archaic in this modern day world because you guys aren't tolerating anything but full transparency, full connectivity, and you want real people. You're not really moved or impressed by polished, measured, perfect celebrities. And this is where these very guarded celebrities are having trouble crossing over and staying relevant in this world of social media. And most
Yep.
importantly,
Oh, hold on.
you are demanding accountability.
Yep, absolutely right. What she's basically saying. And I said, look, we've said this enough times on this show, is the fact that people are demanding accountability. People are demanding transparency. They want to feel a sense of authenticity from their favorite celebrities. It's like, why should I buy your product? Why should I go out of my way to buy your stuff? Especially when, inflation and so many people are struggling in this economy. Yeah, the economy is slowly getting better, but at the same time, it's like, there's always this overall demand on so many products. You got all these out of touch celebrities like Blake Lively and Hennepin and all these other people that just want to continue to grift and grift and grift and trying to do a whole quick cash grab from fans because they they're like, oh, you're a fan of this celebrity, go buy their product. And it's great that you want to go buy it, but it's like, I'm not just going to buy something for the sake of it belonging to someone. She also added that another explanation, for what she had to say. She said, as someone who grew up in a domestic violence home and who has experience in the monetization of media, I think this is the perfect storm, a cautionary tale and a convergence of mishandled circumstances and over communication without sensitivity to the subject matter. I also believe the higher the pedestal we place people on, the harder they fall. I don't believe in pile on cancellation. I believe in learning from our own and other people's blind spots and mistakes. Hashtag it ends with us. Hashtag celebrities. Hashtag big library. Hashtag blah 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 blah. But I agree with her on that. I don't believe in the whole pylon of cancellation and all other stuff. I do agree that we tend to worship celebrities. A lot of people, especially in America, where y'all put these celebrities on this high pedestal and then you expect them to be perfect. And it's like, it comes a point where even if you have like this PR machine, and I know that she was saying earlier that it's hard for people to pull out of that PR machine, but at some point as a human being, you got to kind of look at this as not being so out of touch and be like, you know what? I don't know if this is a good idea for us to be hawking this type of product when I'm playing an abused woman in a movie. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, what the hell does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Like, I'm not going to be, doing all that other stuff. And, there's the whole situation between her and Justin Baldoni, and it just feels, I don't know, it's just weird, this whole situation. But I always say, like, yeah, at the end of the day, the newer generation of kids, like Gen Z, I keep saying the one thing about them that I love that they've gotten right is the fact that while we got caught up in the matrix of the bubbles, the little bubble of bullshit that was given to us by the way that Hollywood is when they created this machine that they would go by, now that is outdated. The newer generation is like, if I can't relate to it, I'm not supporting it. And if I don't feel that it comes from a place of authenticity, and I think they come this way because when you're born in the matrix, as we would say, the internet boom and all that other stuff, I call it the matrix. When you're born in the matrix, you want to be unplugged and you want to get a sense of the real world, but a lot of people are confined to their phones and their computers and their iPads and everything else. So even though we live vicariously through machines, for the most part, you want to feel a sense of authenticity that's coming to you from what you're getting through the machine. So I saw this to say, I definitely agree with Bethenny and what she had to say, and I want to know if you actually agree with what she had to say on this situation. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. So I did like her movie, The Age of Adeline, but that she had a good cast like Harrison Ford and Ellen Burstyn. I don't think I've ever seen that movie, but I know Blake Lively from Gossip Girl. People are tired of ego-driven celebrities. That too. So I love Madonna, but I can't afford the MDNA skin. First of all, if I buy the MDNA skin product, like, would that even work for the like for me? Like, I'm not just gonna buy. That's another thing too. I don't feel like. I mean, or maybe I haven't really been paying attention. But where's all the men out here to give us like some really good products for us to enjoy and use? You see all these women, I guess they probably feel like more women, and I guess that is true, more women spend money on products than men. A lot of men don't really take care of their skin and other parts of their body the way that women do. But I mean, look, with me, I would definitely come out with a liquor line. I come out with my own line of wine. I would also come out with my own line of liquor. I love me some tequila. I love me some whiskey. Those are probably the main ones. I'm not really a big vodka drinker, but I love tequila and whiskey. Vodka, if I'm like feeling like I want to be mellowed out, I'll definitely do that. But um, like if I'm out being social with friends, but if I want to really turn up, it's the brown juice for me. It's like, yeah, a lot of times when I'm out, people are looking at their phones half the time, like, why be on? Because they're trying to see what trade is up in here at a Pride event. If I'm at a Pride event, look, I'm not gonna hold you. I do open up Grinder when I'm out in Pride because I want to be like, okay, what type of fish am I gonna catch? Yesterday, I was on my way to the movies and I got cruised. This guy was like did one of those to me and did it. I'm like, I had to make sure. And he did it again. I was like, damn, of course, when I'm on my way to the movies, I have to go keep it on point because my friend was waiting for me at the theater. So it's like, damn, I can't even like run off real quick and just like get in a quick one. I can't like go in an alleyway and just like, okay, pull the pants down. I'm being silly. Like I wouldn't do nothing like that. Although I will say I have once upon a time done it in an alleyway. Okay, it's making me sound a little worse than it already is. Let's just move. I want to be. That's another thing I was thinking too. Like, you know what? Strain of weed. That would also be a good idea because I smokes the weed. So, like my own strand, my own strain, simply like Whoopi Goldberg. There's a bunch of celebrities I know had a own strain. I know, child, you'd be a fool if Snoop Dogg didn't have one. But as far as like trying to promote weed or your own strain, I think it's hard for some celebrities. Is that a joke or did she actually create that? Because that sounds like something she would do. Kayla says, "Who's afraid of Blake Lively?" Because it's like, who is scared of her? Like, girl, you ain't no damn body, and who's scared of that half a homosexual your husband? That half homosexual husband of yours. Anybody scared of Miss Reynolds and you? But I guess when you have a lot of power, money, and influence in Hollywood, you can steamroll over people. I know, right? Cruising, me, never. Oh, please. Especially in the summertime when I be wearing my short shorts with no drawers on. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Miss Zoe Kravitz, who is opening up about her relationship with her parents and her regrets. So Zoe Kravitz is looking back on her decision to move away from her mother, Lisa Bonet, to live with her father, Lenny Kravitz, back when she was 11 years old. And she says how now she feels that how that may have hurt her mother and Lauren. It's funny how like when you get to be a certain age, and I think like Zoe's in her 30s, you start looking back on things and like past mistakes you made, and you start to feel bad about it. Because I know for me, I'd be feeling like that too. Like I'd be looking back on things that I've done in my past, particularly that I've done to my parents. I didn't put my parents through hell like my sister did, but um when I was growing up, I gave my parents their fair share of stress. um, I was a terror. So, but yeah, but sometimes I look back and I was like, you know what? I do have regrets in that regard. But you live and you learn. So, the Batman star reflected on her childhood in the latest Esquire cover story, saying that she feels she didn't truly appreciate her lifestyle her mother, Lisa Bonet, laid out for her because of her strict parenting style, saying, I think it was very hurtful that I moved away from her to be with my dad, and my dad wasn't even there. I just wish I had been able to appreciate what she was doing for me. She was so focused on preserving my innocence, my creativity, because she knew what the world is, that you don't get that back. The Cosby Show star, who's 56, officially split from Lenny in 1991, just 4 years after the two were married. They welcomed daughter Zoe in 1988. They officially divorced 2 years after their split. Now, Zoe lived with her mother for the first decade of her life, but later moved across the country to live with her father in Miami, who she'd previously only seen a few times a year. Damn, should I refer to it as her old movie title? Because they said the Blink Twice director, but we know that movie was called Pussy Island. Well, maybe some of y'all didn't know, but that's the name. But anyway, they said the Blink Twice director recalled his visits being this whirlwind of a completely different universe. And then I would go home to this really quiet, simple life where, a lot of times these kids think that the grass is greener on the other side when it comes to, the parents and things. So that suddenly she found she had a whole new freedom at 11 years old due to her dad's minimal presence at the home, which led her to grow up faster than most children her age. Saying it wasn't that my dad didn't care. She said he just cared about different things. Zoe further noted how the novelty of her new freedom ultimately wore off when she learned the reality of the lifestyle. Just like it happens in the movies, it's like, oh, you think this is perfect? You think this is great? Guess what comes with this? The dope actress ultimately asked her father to move to New York, where she says she felt like she fit in. It wasn't some genius actress. I'm gonna say I wasn't some genius actress. I felt safe. She said of the move to the city. Well, New York definitely forced you to grow up too. Concrete jungle where dreams are made of, child. So you definitely will fit here more because it's like diversity. And if you're a child of, a little high yellow child, um, that looks racially ambiguous, even though she has two black parents, you do feel, or they call Lisa Bonet. Don't she go by Lila Coy Moon now? She doesn't even go by Lisa Bonet anymore. But you always see that the grass is green on the other side. It's like, yeah, I don't like the strict lifestyle. I'm going to go live with my father because he's not going to be as on me about the things. But you don't realize that when you have strict parents, what that parent is doing, and it made me learn this as well because I did grow up with strict parents as well. and I rebelled and all those other things. You start to look back on it as like, you know what they were trying to do was protect you from the big bad world. Because when you go out in that real world and you see how these people operate, how the people that actually don't give a fuck about you, you start to realize that the world is not as black and white as you envision it to be. And so all Lisa was trying to do, or Lil Coy was trying to do, was protect you and shield you from the craziness of the world, especially with her being an actress in the business and your father being a rock star. So then she thought, okay, I can go to Miami and live with him and we get to do all the fun stuff. Come to find out, he was like, he had other things on his mind, according to her, possibly touring. And then it's like, okay, now I have a kid in the house. I don't know what I have to do. I don't know what the tools are in regards to raising a kid. And even though, yeah, I was married and I have a child, I don't know if I wanted that responsibility. Yeah, you can come live with me and I'll let you do whatever you want. But it's like, now I got to sit and parent, actually, I got to sit and put in the work. But I just love the fact that her and her father literally have like a great relationship and how they had that whole blended family type situation. So the other picture of her with her father didn't want to come up, apparently. So I love how they have like their whole blended family and everything. And Jason Momoa, I just saw a recent video with him with his son on a boat, and his son was trying to push him into the water, and he was just like he couldn't do it because his father is like ginormous. Jason Momoa is a huge guy. And then I've seen some people in the comments talking about of course, it had to be a woman making a comment about Jason's son. I'm like, okay, bitch, what you trying to imply? Like, you trying to say his son is gay? And this is what pisses me off about people. Leave kids alone. Because then we have to go over to your page, bitch, and start looking at you and your children and start talking about them. So when y'all want to open that cans of worms, be careful. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, you said, what about Kanye and his whip it? Whip it real good. Doom, 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 doom. I was thinking, I'm like, I'm not surprised about this whole thing with him. I'm like, whippets? Who's still doing whippets in 2024? Faggots. Yes, the faggots. Let me find out. I was like, let's start using that phrase, the faggots. Milo Yiannopoulos spilling the cognac. Yeah, he was spilling. I saw he was spilling all that tea from him. That's like the French word, the French word for very good. We call them faggots, like a baguette. But yeah, that's a whole hot ass mess. Look, he keep it up. He gonna end up like Matthew Perry, allegedly. You keep it up, sir. I think they do. I think they get along. I've seen them posing pictures and things. I don't think Lisa and Zoe ever had issues. I mean, they always put on a united front. In my opinion, I would always see them out with taking pictures, whatever. And and Lisa would show up to her movie premieres. So, yeah, I think they get along pretty much. And now the blended family is no more. I think I saw. Oh, what was it? I think yeah, they all pretty much get along because I saw a video, like I was telling y'all, of Jason Momoa and his son. Hold on, let me pull that up. And I saw what's his name in the comments. I saw Lenny Kravitz in the comments. To my hey fam, so they get along. It's like my thing is I'm not going to stop talking to somebody because it didn't work out with you and my ex. I forgot he goes by Pride of Gypsies on his thing because he is a gypsy. Hold on. Because this was the one where they showed, and I was like, his son looked just like Lisa Bonet. I'm trying to remember if they had kids. Like, even down to the bottom lip. I'm sorry, but Jason Momoa can get it. Like, it's like, I love me a beefy man. Somebody I can climb, bitch. Yeah, so he's selling some type of product.
Humble is my favorite. Helps you be kind to the planet, kind to your family. You know what I'm saying, sir? It smells good. It looks good. Aloha. There it is. Man, that smells good. Humble. Don't you Hey, I'm trying to teach you how to be kind. Keep it humble, baby. I'm always looking.
Yeah, so we got Jason Momoa on here selling soap. Good for him. But there's somebody was trying to say, is his son? Oh, never mind. I said, oh no. If this bitch is up in here trying to insinuate that, oh, because the way he's acting, he's gay. First of all, I'll be probably pushing him the same way. Number one, I'm weird in a way where it's like if I'm on boats or whatever, I'm always worried about that I'm gonna slip and fall into the water and drown. So I try not to be trying to do too much. Which is like, yeah, I'm not trying to slip or bust my head on something. I guess I'll be watching too many damn movies. But it's like I'll be worried about I'm gonna slip and bust my head on some stuff. So I'll be thinking about that in that way. But anyway, we got 2 more topics to go, and then we are done with today's show. So let's get into this Elliot Page story because he is opening up about the fact that he gets misgendered all the time. But he said that he does not let the misgendering bother him. So it's like, yeah, y'all can call me he, you can call me she, you can call me Regis and Kathy Lee, but as long as you call me, that's an old line from RuPaul. But he's saying, yeah, you can misgender me, but I'm not gonna let that be the end all be all of mine. Not saying you could intentionally do it, like that Clear bitch did when she was on what was it, CNN or was it MSNBC, and then Michael Eric Dyson and damn, what the hell was the other guy? It was two black people was on them, and they had to clear her ass because she was up in there intentionally saying Kamala Harris's name wrong. I was like, this bitch with her wrinkly ass neck. But anyway, let's get into the thing. So Page, who's 37, came out as trans in 2020 and now stars in his first movie role since his transition called Close to You. Now, written and directed by Dominic Savage, Elliot plays Sam, a trans man who was reunited with his family for the first time after his sex change. The film shows clear parallels between Elliot's journey and his character as they both are finally finding acceptance in their lives. Speaking to The Guardian about his new role, the Canadian actor touched on the issue of misgendering and said the following: I feel weird because I get misgendered all the time, and I don't care unless someone's trying to, be me. In the film, there is a moment where Sam's mother, played by Wendy Crewson, accidentally misgenders him. When I asked if it was a slip of the tongue, Elliot replied, I want to be clear, I wouldn't correct Wendy as me. I'd be like, it's fine, we're going to move on from the moment. It takes a second, but I'm not me, I'm Sam here. And the same moment was so perfect because that's what happens. Opening up about the similarity in the film to his personal life, Elliot explained that his own mother sometimes has similar slip-ups, but does her best. She's pretty good. I'm like, of course. It's going to take you a second, Mom. It's fine. You don't need to beat yourself up about it. Now, Close to You is Elliot's first TV role since he appeared in 2017's Flatliners, a remake of the 1990 Kiefer Sutherland and Kevin Bacon classic. Well, you're saying, I think they meant movie role because Elliot has done TV as trans, and that would be The Umbrella Academy, which is currently airing on Netflix. The final season's out already. So, but here's what I'll say on this. I totally agree with Elliot in the fact of like, when it comes to these type of situations, it's going to happen. If you are someone who is transitioning and you already come to terms with who you are, you've accepted who you are, and you're going through the change and all this big change that's in your life that people who are your family and friends aren't used to, you have to give people the grace and the chance to actually grow with you and catch up and understand where you're coming from. So if somebody misgenders you, don't feel bad. Don't beat them up about it. Give them a moment. It happens. I've had times where I misgendered people and I beat myself about it, but you have to give people the grace to catch up. So, and as somebody who is a homosexual, like I had to give people the grace and the time to come to terms with my coming out and my sexuality. So I feel like we should offer the same grace in the same way. Now, if you're doing it on purpose, like I said, like that fucking cunt did over there that was on MSNBC that deliberately kept saying Kamala Harris's name wrong because she was being like a typical Trump supporting biatch, as a lot of them do. They like to take the same beats and the same crap and embodying your own thing, because everybody trying to follow Trump handbook for attention. This is what y'all do. So, I say yes. Give people the grace to catch up with you and to do it, because it's gonna happen. They're gonna make a mistake. But if somebody's deliberately disrespecting you, then you gonna cuss their ass out. Look, T.S. Madison has mentioned this plenty of times that, you know what, even though she has transitioned and she is who she is, and the big thing, her mother misgenders her at times as well. It happens, but you have to remember. You have to. I guess the word is, you have to allow your parents, your friends, family members to mourn the side of you that they knew. This is why they call, dead names or whatever, like Elliot's previous name. That is the person you formerly were. This is not who you are anymore. You've come out of the cocoon and you've become, you've gone from the thing and now you're a butterfly. You changed, you evolved, you become something else. So you have to allow those people that knew the old you to mourn that old you so they can welcome and love the new you. So that's all this to say. I'm definitely curious to see this movie. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of stuff about it. I like Elliot Page. I would like to see them in a lot more other stuff as well. I have not gotten around to watching the final season of The Umbrella Academy. I'm going to try to watch it. Can't guarantee I'm going to see it tonight, but because there's so many other things that's on that I got to catch. So I'm going to get around to it eventually. And I like Elliot, and I'm glad that, they're getting a lot of work and they're being able to use something so personal in their life that they have gone through as a way to connect. And I hope that what this movie does, it opens up dialogue for people who are going through something similar. Even if there are parents out there who have disowned their kids for being trans, I hope those parents actually take the time to see this movie, and it actually changes them to be like, let me reach out to my child who I missed out on years of being in their life, because this movie made me open my eyes up to something that I wasn't familiar or privy with. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so now let's move on to our final topic, and let's talk about Alexandra Billings responding to Hunter Schafer turning down being seen as a trans activist. So shout out to Pink News for this story, because they said history-making trans actress and transparent star Alexandra Billings has given her answer to the question on whether trans actors should be turning down trans roles, as Euphoria's Hunter Schafer has started doing. Now, earlier this year, Schafer, recently seen as cis teenager in Tillman Singer's psychological horror Cuckoo, said that she has turned down tons of trans roles because, quite simply, she doesn't want to do them. Despite finding fame as trans teen Jules Vaughn in dark drama Euphoria, Schafer said she found it demeaning to continually be labeled as a trans actress, saying getting further and doing awesome shit in the interest of the movement will be way more helpful than talking about it all the time. Since then, she has gone further, saying that she doesn't wish to be labeled a trans activist. Now, speaking exclusively to Pink News, Billings, who became one of TV's first out trans characters by appearing in 2005's film Romeo and Michelle in the Beginning, said that she backs Schafer wholeheartedly. Now, as whether trans representation in TV and film had advanced to a place where trans actresses should be turning down trans roles, Billings said, I don't know about should, but if there's something in you in your personal journey and artistic journey that says, I don't think this is a great idea, then don't do it. Now, Billings' most notable role was in Amazon's cult LGBTQ plus series, Transparent, playing Davina, best friend of lead character Maura Pfefferman. At the time, Maura was played by male cis star Jeffrey Tambor, who left the show in 2018 following allegations of sexual harassment, claims which he denied, although he admitted to having anger issues and apologized to anyone he made feel vulnerable. Billings also made history in 2020, becoming the first trans actress to be cast as Madame Morrible in Wicked. So wait, is that the movie? Is that the movie, or is that the play? Because I'm like 2020, we in 2024. But here's what I say about this whole thing. I totally agree with that. Look, if Hunter Schafer wants to take like a more challenging approach to her career and wants to be like, you know what, I don't want to be a trans actress. I want to be seen as an actress. So I'm going to literally go up for roles that doesn't put me in that category of having to be marginalized or labeled. Like I play characters or whatever, and that's great, but I want to be seen as an actress. I don't want to be a trans actress. I'm an actress who happens to be trans. That's just like I'm sure with a lot of actors. I'm an actor that happens to be gay. I'm an actor that happens to be a lesbian. I'm an actor that happens to be bi. I'm an actor that happens to be trans. Why can't it be that way? Why do we have to be a black actor? Why do we have to be a female actor? Why do we have to be a gay actor or a trans actor? You don't hear that from white folks. Oh, I'm a white actor. Bitch, we know. Y'all just be seen as actors. So we got to sit in anybody that's marginalized, we have to put them in this box, and that's where they have to be. And it's like, yeah, that is her journey. That is what she has to go on. And if she doesn't want to just play trans characters, she shouldn't have to be limited to just that. And I feel like that's what a lot of people do. It's like maybe she was raised to believe in a way that, you know what, the sky is the limit. So go after what you want to go after and don't let the limitations of society limit you in whatever you choose to do with your career. So I went on this and I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are you here for what Alexander Billings had to say? And are you here for what Hunter Schafer has to say? Just like she said before, I don't want to be seen as a trans actor, and I don't want to have to always be an activist and speak out on the community. Now, if it's something that's deep, near and dear in my heart, and I need to speak out on it, I'll do it. But for the most part, I don't have the bandwidth or I'm well equipped to want to take on that type of responsibility or carry that much weight on my shoulders. Not everybody has the strength of Atlas. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now we are finally done with today's show, child. That was a lot of topics. Or maybe, was it really? It was like 12. Just 12. I mean, I've done more. But yeah, so it's the end of the show. It's Friday. It's Friday, and I'm ready to slang, pick up my girls, and hit the party, sing. Shout out to Aaliyah. May she rest in peace. We're at the end of the show. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll probably be back on Monday with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely take the weekend off. I really feel like I needed to take like maybe 2 days and just rest up. Well, tomorrow I'm working, so I just need some time to like just recharge the battery. And I'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I want to thank everybody that was in the comments that was, conversing with me and giving their opinion on the hot topics. Yeah, I'll be back next week with a brand new episode, and we'll be back doing the same thing as we always do. We up in here chatting and kikiing, all the good stuff. And it's like, thank you, Brown Bunny. I will definitely have a good weekend as much as I possibly can. I need to catch up on some stuff too. I watched the first episode. As soon as I got in from the movies, I came in and I watched the first episode of Global All Stars. I only watched one. I got to watch the other. So I was going to do the other one, but I was like, okay, it's 4 a.m. I need to go to sleep. So it's like, when you get home and it's like you can't fall asleep because the adrenaline is still pumping or whatever. So you need a minute to like wind down before you're ready to go to bed. So that was me. So I'll definitely be catching up on some things since there's a lot of movies that drop. We got The Union with Halle Berry. Twisters is out. Got to catch up on that. Furiosa is out. I might want to rewatch that. I might do an Alien marathon. I don't know. It's not enough hours in the day, but I don't know. I'm tired. I need to recharge the battery, and I'll be back right as rain Monday. Probably the same time. Or, it's always in the afternoon. I'm a midday child. I can't be morning and evening. It's too damn late or too early. I'm midday. So love you all for watching. Thank you all for watching. And until next time.